everybody. The London Spitfire just pulled off the 3-0 victory over the Florida Mayhem, and with that, they get their first win of this stage. We'll see if they can continue that momentum moving forward. There's some weird sounds going on around me, right? I love them. I love them. All right, guys, up next, our last match of the night. We have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the Houston Outlaws. I had to take the pause there because there's a lot of Houston Outlaws fans here. Now, these guys, they have a rival history here in the Overwatch League. As we know, there's been a lot of talk about who has the best non-all-Korean roster. And the talk has shifted between these two teams quite a bit. And in fact, these were the two teams that made it into the stage playoffs next to NYXL and the London Spitfire for the first two stages. First, we had Houston, and then the last stage, we had the Philadelphia Fusion. So, needless to say, this matchup is going to be crazy. As a matter of fact, both times these two teams faced off against each other in the regular season, it went all 5 maps. It went the distance. And I actually ran to Jake earlier today, and he said he wanted Houston to pull this one out. They want to get over this curse of losing to Philadelphia. So for all you guys who are not familiar with this matchup, let me get you guys up to speed of the history of these two teams facing off.
Let's welcome the Philadelphia Fusion. Of course, the Outlaws are here to reign on their debut. Oh! I got get 3. It's a self-destruct bonanza. Numbers are favoring the Outlaws right now, and so it seems is fate. The Outlaws have woken up. 3 kills with the Barrett, 4 underwards clockwork. Now we have ourselves a game. Oh! Poco's got a button on his desk. It's bigger than yours. A 5th map is looming. Dismantled. It's like a Jenga tower coming down for the Outlaws. 1 block at a time. There it is. The Fusion get it done. Welcome to the Overwatch League. We're lucky to have you.
If you're looking at stage 2, these teams have been perfect. I'm pumped for this one.
Oh, you're getting a bit worried. You're next, Neptuno. Rack him up and knock him down. It's the links away. The Outlaws start strong. 2 maps already in the bag for them.
I said this could be the best match of all of stage 2. Not so much so far. It's been a one-sided affair.
This is going to be the landslide the Philadelphia Fusion were looking for. Philadelphia Fusion, they're going to make this a series. Both teams looking nice and topped up, but Shadowbird's going to get his hands dirty. He does. No! The Philadelphia Fusion reverse sweep the Houston Outlaws. All the good stuff that you could ask for an Overwatch match, you just witnessed.
Yo, let's hear it for the editing team. That video's got me pumped up. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett here at the desk. We've got bread, we've got crumbs, and an amazing match. We've seen Philadelphia, we've seen Houston. You just saw the heartbreak for the Houston Outlaws at the end of their last match. Today, they come in with Philadelphia, the number 5 seed overall, Houston number 7. And as you look at the overall standings, this match has some major impact on our standings. Just one match separates these two.
Yeah, and I mean, this one match is going to be really the difference whether or not Houston can grasp a few more points to get into that playoff brackets or whether Philadelphia drop down as well. So very much so. There's a lot on the line in this game, so got my eyes peeled on it closely.
Now, we got to take a look at what happened in the previous 2 matchups. They met up once in Stage 1. It happened again in Stage 2. Both series went to a Game 5. As you take a look at the first one, it was back and forth. The second one, it was all Houston early. Fusion had to make the 3-game comeback in the reverse sweep. How did they get it done? Because it's Fusion who comes out on top of both.
The first one started very different than all the other ones because Philly did not play in the preseason, so they just came in. Nobody had really seen them. You didn't know what to expect, and they were able to take down a Houston Outlaws that looked great in the preseason and the week 1. So that was Philly entering Overwatch League with a bang.
Week 2 in general, I think, really actually came down to a lot of the maps being played. So the first 2 maps definitely suited Houston's style of tank play in particular. Went back and rewatched the game earlier today, and then Philadelphia coming out with a reverse sweep, mainly off the back of Carpe and Shadowburn, actually. These 2 guys, high mechanical skill, and coincidentally, I mean, I believe we're going to be playing those same 2 gents today. So, I mean, could history repeat itself? I guess we'll find out.
I'm looking forward to it. I know this is going to be a great series, but one thing we have to keep in mind is that you have this Philadelphia squad who's been up and down. They're going to have some stars back on the lineup today. On the other side, for the Houston Outlaws, you started Stage 3 amazing. You beat the London Spitfire, one of your rival teams. But then you went on to lose to Boston. We were really concerned for this Outlaws squad, so we sent Zoe to talk with their coach, and here's what he had to say.
Thank you so much, Puckett. Yeah, I did get to talk to their GM Flame, my favorite Flame, out of all the Flames I know in this whole wide world. And we talked a little bit about the previous match they had against Boston, where their coach, Tyrone, actually took to Twitter and was all like, oh my God, Boston read us like an open book. That's me paraphrasing. That's not exactly what he said. But I talked to Flame about it, and he said, like, no, it was just a matter of preparation. Boston came in prepared. They played really, really well. And on top of that, there's also this kind of issue that usually we always have a practice game before our match on stage. However, in that game against Boston, they didn't have that. So all the players came in cold. That's certainly not helping their case. And of course, I had to ask, will Fusion figure it out the way Boston did? Flame just kind of started laughing, actually, and said, like, no, that's not going to happen. They're actually confident that they can take a win off the Philadelphia Fusion.
All right, thank you so much, Zoe. So it looks like Houston a little bit confident. So Crumbs, give me your thoughts coming in today. Should we be worried if you're an Outlaws fan about their last loss, or just wipe that away and start fresh with Philly today?
Well, what Boston came out and said specifically, I think it was Noah in an interview, or Nick, or rather, mentioning how they didn't exactly want to counter the heroes that Houston Outlaws were playing, rather the style, the slow kind of defensive style, and play around it. So they kind of used that against them. And the Philadelphia can do that, which doesn't seem like too much of a tall order as a team so similar to them. Boston's already done it. That could be a key to victory for them.
Bren, how do you see this one playing out today?
I mean, on the side of Philadelphia, I'm going to give it to the team. They're a fantastic group of players across the board, and they have come out on top in the last 2 games. But there's a few factors that I think put this into Houston's favor a little bit. So number one is going to be the maps, right? And if you take a look at the maps that are being played today, statistically, Philadelphia have not had great showings in the past. Now, again, this is historic data. I mean, you might want to look at this a little bit more closely in terms of recently, but Houston do come out on top on the majority of these maps. So I feel like that is going to be putting it in their favor a little bit. But there's also the factor that you've got EQO, who's not going to be playing, again, still suspended. So they're going to have to experiment a little bit more with this roster.
A little more Snillo today.
Yeah, possibly a little bit more Snillo, a little bit more Shadowburn. You know, who knows what they're going to be running, but they're going to be having to work with what they've got instead of the tried and tested EQO.
I see the Houston boys off camera. They're dancing. They're ready to go. So let's make this quick, guys, and get our predictions in here. I want to start with you, Bren. You're 0 for 2. Looking to be 0 for 3. The first one to do it in stage 3. Can you?
Potentially, we'll see today. I guess it's up to Houston Outlaws, because that's the group of guys that I'm going to be going with today. I'm going with Houston Outlaws. That's my prediction. I feel like what I've already listed out, that is going to be the case.
Well, you've listed out several reasons, Brandon. I'm going to take down absolutely all of them. First one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
map pool. In recent map pools, Houston just came off 2 losses in the map pool that we're playing today, whereas Philadelphia, 3 map wins that they're playing today. They just won in their match against Florida. On top of that, if you take their last match against Boston, Houston got 0-4. Philly took Boston in game 5. And one more. Every time that Philly has beaten Houston Outlaws, it was without EQO. It was, in fact, with Shadowburn and Carpe. So it doesn't even matter that EQO is not there. They've beaten them twice already. I'm going with Philly. Stats all the way.
Listen,
That's why I've been winning the analyst
I
test.
could come back at you, but I don't know about you, Crumbs, but I'm excited to get into this game. So I'm going to leave you. I'm gonna let you off this one. You know, I could ruin your entire career on this desk, but we're not going to go.
For the sake of the show, we appreciate you, Bren. What a guy. Give it up for Bren, but more importantly, give it up for our first team to the main stage. Please make some noise as we welcome the squad from Philly. It's the Fusion. Carpe coming out first, and if you ask me, he should be in the MVP conversation, one of the most important players to any team. But look out for the man right behind him. It's Snillo running Tracer on DPS, and of course the main tank, you got Fraggy alongside Poco, soaking up the damage.
And our first map is Volskaya, so Carpe's Widowmaker is going to be so important for taking down these duels. He's going to be up against Linkster, though, the best 1v1 Widowmaker. So no matter what happens in this game, we're going to have those duels that are going to be very hype.
I mean, I agree with that. Individually, these players as well. You look at Snillo, you look at Carpe, and they really haven't been underperforming in the slightest. In fact, Carpe is one of those players, again, as we said before, you can really hold at such a high regard, potentially one of the best DPS players in the world when he's playing at that level. Now, the real question is he going to play at that level today? I mean, that's what we're really all here to find out, is because when they are playing on fire, right, when they are going full speed, full momentum, full violence, they're not letting down, right? It's almost like an unstoppable force of nature, this team.
And it's nice to see Neptuno back in the beard. It was creeped me out for a little bit when he had the baby face. That is a look at the starting 6 for the Philadelphia Fusion. Now it's time to find out who they're playing against. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, the Houston Outlaws.
And our first map is Volskaya, so Carpe's Widowmaker is going to be so important for taking down these duels. He's going to be up against Linkster, though, the best 1v1 Widowmaker. So no matter what happens in this game, we're going to have those duels that are going to be very hype.
Bren, what a guy. Give it up for Bren, but more importantly, give it up for our first team to the main stage. The Fusion. Wow, that's a loud crowd today.
It is indeed. I mean, I gotta say, Bucket, the one. It is packed.
Back Fiction!
Back Fiction is coming into this lineup. I mean, that's something that we were not really expecting at all. How are they going to be fitting him into this squad? What strategies are they going to be developing? That's the one thing we're looking at today on More Sky.
And a lot of you guys at home probably know that face. You haven't seen him in this jersey, but Fact Fiction was representing Team USA, a fantastic tank in the lineup. I can't wait to see his debut here in the Overwatch League.
And they made it against a very difficult opponent here because when we compare these two squads, I felt like Muma had the advantage over Fraggy, but now that Fact Fiction is being subbed in, he's going to have to live up to Muma's shoes, who is in contestant for one of the best tanks in the league already.
That's a Brennism right there. Live up to his shoes. That's
Hey,
something that
you
I
know,
say that? Oh,
you can fill them while you live up to them. Hey,
That's
Fact
what I would
Fiction.
say.
Hey, buddy, don't be so happy, Russell. All right, welcome to the stage.
Let's move on. But Houston, like we've gone to over the multitude of reasons why they could win today. You pointed out, Crumbs, that you think historic. If you look closely at their recent results, that still won't be the case. I gotta say, I think this squad still is in contention for the best Western team. There's a reason why the Korean teams were scared of them in stage 1 and onwards. There's a reason why they were picking them up as one of the best teams in the league. And I feel like those reasons are still there. You've got Linkser with the clutch potential. You've got the rest of his team to back it up, not to mention Jake as well, who kind of acts as the glue that holds the whole team together.
If you didn't know any better, you would think this match was held in Houston. So many fans cheering on the Outlaws today. Will they be able to right their path and get the victory over the Fusion? They're 0 for 2 so far. We'll find out. Can they get it today? It's time to kick this one off. Your casters for the action. We got Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Puckett. I am so psyched about this one, man. Philly versus Houston. We always get good matches out of these two teams. I think today is not going to be any exception.
Well, I love that analysis on the desk, too. That was a great...
That was spicy.
That was spicy, a bit of a mic drop at the end from Crumbs. But I liked what both of those guys are bringing up. Because historically, you look at this, as Bren was saying, and this is a great map pool if you're the Houston Outlaws, particularly since EQO will not be playing over on the other side. But, you know, Philadelphia won twice without EQO,
that is true.
Crumbs brought up. The other thing about the Outlaws is that we haven't seen them play Volskaya or Ilios yet in stage 3. So a bit of a difference. They could have been working on some of these maps where they have sub 50% win rates. So I'm excited to see what the Outlaws are going to bring. They could be entirely revitalized on some of their worst maps in this pool.
You know, I mean, not to mention we're coming off of a Philly reverse sweep, and the last time these two teams met too. So you just never know how this one's going to go.
Yeah, it has been mercurial and tightly contested,
Yep.
as we see from the 2 game 5s that we've had already. Houston not showing us anything surprising on the defense, but we have to talk, I think, a little bit about why Fact Fiction today. And
Sure.
Muma's an excellent tank, but the way that they play with Muma is that oftentimes he will solo dive both supports and primal rage them out of line of sight. Now, this is fantastic unless there's a sleep dart. And in this meta, unless there's a Sombra who's hacking you when you try and do that, because there's not a way when you're meleeing in Primal Rage to stop the hack from going off. So it is a dangerous meta to be a solo Winston like Muma. So we'll take a look at Fact Fiction and see if he's going to offer a different play style on the Winston.
It's a great point. Known a lot for his Reinhardt, but probably not going to see that on this map. Here we go. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack again without EQO again today. Going to be relying on Snillo. Fraggy having to back away after taking a bit of damage. Carpe, though, he is the one who's going to be dealing out probably most of the damage on this team. He has been arguably one of the best DPS in the league, if not the best. Snillo finds Jake early on. Good start for Philly, as they are going to get a 6v5 here now.
It's an excellent start because Jake is not going to be resurrectable.
Oh.
And now they're going to be able to put pressure onto the high ground. Jake
That
is
helps.
no longer running interference. Banny and Linkser are in a precarious position.
And the Reds comes in, but oh, Banny taken out by Carpe as well. This guy's on a tear already. Goodbye, Fact Fiction, and this looks like it might end up being a pretty quick point A.
Jake losing the Tracer 1v1 was really important here because he was the only thing preventing Snillo from running onto that high ground.
Yeah, true enough. We do see Linkser swapping over to Genji now already to get ready for stage number 2, or for point number 2, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit tricky as well. Well away from the Dragon Blade right now. And Neptuno is almost already at the Valkyrie. So Philadelphia, they can make a strong push into the point and use that chain healing from the Mercy ultimate.
Yep, that's right. Snow and Fraggy coming around on the side of that high ground. Snillo with the pulse bomb loaded up, ready to go. See if they can carry this momentum through. Houston getting a bit aggressive. That's going to be Snillow's cue to go deep. The dive going into Fraggy. Nice stick onto Raucus. Another kill comes in. Poco, though, did get taken out by Jake. Boombox gets rezzed on the Philadelphia side. Good by Jake. Boombox with a bit of revenge after he comes back to life. Snillo just still harassing. And Neptuno somehow killed Linkser there.
Yeah, but they don't have any tanks to follow this up with. Both of the Philadelphia tanks have already fallen.
Yeah.
So there's not a great way to capitalize. Yes, you did kill both of the DPS from the Houston Outlaws with your supports, but you can't actually pressure the point.
Well, I mean, while the supports are busy killing people, the tanks unfortunately dying. It looks like Fact Fiction with a pick on the Carpe. The res comes in, but they've used their Transcendence as well. That was to cover Neptuno while he res, but they're going to need to get something out of it. And Linkser says, no way, pulls out the Dragon Blade and stops this push cold.
That was a great defense by the Outlaws. They played outside of the base and onto the back line. They separated the tanks who had already gone onto the point from the supports and the DPS, and that's the big win there. You look at it, you think Philadelphia Fusion should have an excellent chance of pushing through to this point, but if you get the picks early and you play aggressively, sometimes you can win before that fight begins. Now they've stabilized their ult economy and should be feeling a lot better.
True, and I mean, you see a lot of Zenyattes using the Transcendence to make it safe for Mercy to do a risky res, but if you do that, you really need to win a big fight right afterwards, and Philadelphia couldn't really deliver that time, unfortunately for them. Fact Fiction, though, does go down. Carpe swapping over to that McCree, and he's got a kill already. Snillo coming in onto Raucus. Easy kill there. Now Primal Rage from Fraggy, locking up Cool Matt. Back in the hallway, he's going to get the DMAC eventually. Rez coming in. Oh, a Pulse Bomb goes wide. It's an airball. No kills for Snillo on that one. Houston back into it with the Rez onto Raucus, but Banny taken out by Fraggy. There goes Raucus. As soon as I say it, both supports down, and Snillo building up some control meter for Philly. Nearly gets a tick right there, but Houston getting all the other kills, and I think they're going to need to back off. That's right.
The damage control from Houston has been fantastic when they find themselves at a disadvantage. They were surprised by the McCree on the high ground. The flashbang fan, the hammer, killed Fact Fiction before he could pop his Primal Rage. So again, looks like a great fight for the Fusion. No possible resurrection coming in from the Outlaws, but instead it's Jake landing the Pulse Bomb onto Boombox. That delays them long enough to get their tank back up, and they are just cutting the Philadelphia Fusion in half on every approach.
Tracer duel going on the right side. Meanwhile, Linkser just poking. He's going to go in. He's got the Dragon Blade. A lot of pressure on the Philly right now. Takes about a lot of damage. Needs to be careful here. Fraggy finishes him off. Linkser going a little bit maybe too aggressive there. Either way, Houston falling back. Trying to play it a little bit safer. Cool Matt almost out of health on that Diva suit right now.
And the problem for Philly is that they can't actually get to the point itself. Finally, they're able to get into the back.
Now they get the DMAC. Transcendence used immediately by Raucus. Deadeye coming in for Carpe, looking for targets. Oh, he finds Linkser and Fact Fiction. Philadelphia Fusion claims that first tick in a hurry. Now Banny falls. Looks like it's going to be at least 2 ticks here. And now the delay from Cool Matt coming in with the Diva gets DMAC'd almost immediately. The momentum all in Philly's favor right now. Pushing back those respawns. Now it's all about buying time for Houston. It's going to be hard to defend the point. Maybe this Dragon Blade can do it. Carpe turning around, getting healed by that Transcendence. Boombox comes out with it at just the right time, and Carpe gets the kill. They've nearly got it, 93.7%. So close, man.
But they have a DMAC'd Diva right now, and the respawns being closer means Houston Outlaws are going to be able to try and hold this for a little bit longer. So now the control percent starts to fall back. May is out for the Outlaws from Linkser.
Whoa, Jake gets caught by the Deadeye. Philly comes in, just crushes this one. A little bit of a delay now from Raucus with that Transcendence. But again, Philadelphia is so close to taking it. Now Fact Fiction comes in. Nice flashbang from Carpe to help focus down that Winston. That's going to be 2:09 on the clock for Philly after a successful attack run.
But considering the circumstances of how Philly rolled the first point, Houston did a great job of defending for longer than I thought it was going to be possible.
Absolutely, especially towards the end there. It was just really good staggering of getting the right people on the point for as long as you can.
Yeah, and what's so interesting about the way the Outlaws are playing is this is not how we expect the Outlaws to play at all. they're known as a more passive team. Yet what were they doing? They were diving aggressively on the back line of the Philadelphia Fusion. This is not a look that we typically see from the Outlaws. They are more hesitant, focused on people engaging them rather than the other way around. But they were taking the initiative with their dive composition on point B, and it provided a nice stall.
I really liked the Linkser Genji, actually. Felt like that worked out pretty well. And so now on attack, the Houston Outlaws. We'll see what they come up with this time. If it's going to be a little bit more variation, or if it's going to be more of the Tracer Widowmaker. You'd kind of expect that's what it's going to be.
I definitely think you run that. You run Linkser on Widow whenever you possibly can. He's one of the top Widowmaker players in the league. So play to your strengths, but he is going up against Carpe, who has been spectacular over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Carpe's shown some respect for Linkser's Widowmaker in some interviews previously in other stages. So you know there's a lot of kind of respect going between these two guys, and the duels have usually been, you know, generally going Carpe's way, but a robot is doing the robot. I mean, what do you expect?
In the background, that's what happens.
Yes.
Build your mechs and then have them do dances in the middle of your Russian city.
Wow, what a tremendous waste of fuel. But hey, maybe they're solar powered in the future. Who knows?
It's all right. We have bigger waste of fuel in the Overwatch League, Noah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I set you up for that one, but man, talk about fire. Burned a lot of fuel there. London, not in this match. Houston Outlaws on the attack, though. And Jake down already. Carpe, it's a nice defensive snipe right off the bat.
That's a really weird place for a Widowmaker to be right as the map starts, but it's a good read on Jake attempting to flank up onto the high ground. If you hit that shot, then could grapple back up, you're in good position, and it's exactly what Carpe does.
So a little bit of a delay while Houston waits for Jake to get back from the spawn room. Oh, now they're gonna have to wait for Bonnie. Oh. Boombox with a big pick from across the map. A little bit of a dive coming in from Billy. And Fraggy pays for it. Oh, that was classic Fraggy right there.
They may actually end up paying for that if they can't get this
the
resurrection.
res.
They are.
Nice cover, actually, to keep Fraggy up there, but they pay for it with Boombox, and there goes Poco's mech.
That was a great play by Jake. He waited for them to take the bait, which meant that the Mercy was no longer next to the Zenyatta. Yep. That's when he goes in, eliminates Boombox.
Oh, Carpe gets Linkser again then. Linkser res back up again. And Houston with an opportunity here to move back onto the point. All right, there goes Fraggy. So, weird kind of situation, but Jake kind of leading the way for Houston to capitalize on that. Fraggy just going in a bit too aggressively, dying early, and Fusion paying for it with probably point A here. They're still kind of skirmishing over it. But Houston, I don't know, they've got 3 people coming back from spawn right now, so Philly has a chance to defend here.
Yeah, they do. They're going to get Poco there just to delay any further progress. They have not reached their second tick yet.
Yep.
Will right now.
No one can hide.
Almost got it. Linkser with just a couple more shots can help them secure it here. Full mat nearly demech though. Linkser has to back up for just a second. It's a self-destruct. Oh, nice shot on Carpe. Man, he saw that one coming. He used the infra sight, so he knew where he was. Neptuno comes in for the res. Nice cover with the Transcendence again from Boombox. Houston Outlaws diving in as it gets close to end. They've used their Valkyrie as well. Backfiction trying to chase down Carpe here. He's going to turn around, go after Boombox instead, who's vulnerable. That's a nice kill for Backfiction. That comes in onto Poco as well. Not doing a whole lot of damage with that Bunny Blaster. That's going to secure point A.
Rock is cleaning them up, finds Snillo as he's coming back to rejoin the battle, snipes him out before he can make a difference, and finally the Houston Outlaws push forward. Philly invested a lot into that defense as well. Primal Rage is going to get popped early here to provide some presence on the point. Carpe has switched over to the Sombra.
Backfiction trying to just keep people off the point to give them a little bit of time, but not accomplishing a ton with that per se. Get some healing now. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he didn't create the zone that he wanted is the problem. It was just a little bit too early, but he was trying to help his team force their way onto the point.
Yeah.
Didn't end up working as intended.
Now the concept was there, but the timing just a little bit off for Houston on that one. Now having to back away. A lot of damage being taken right now. There goes Raucus. Boombox with another big pick. Meanwhile, Jake sneaking around the side, but he's going to need to kind of be cautious while he waits for his team to come back.
Yeah, they don't know where he is, though. So if he can hide here for a little bit longer, if Philadelphia decides to play aggressively and defend outside of the main choke point, he may find himself an opportunity to at least force a trance.
Carpe over on the Sombra now, as you can see. 82% towards that EMP. Gonna be helpful defensively. Snillo finds Rockets. Nice pick there. Both supports actually dying out in the open area. Wow, really aggressive defense for Houston. Somehow they get out there and make Houston pay.
Yeah, they play far forward, and they don't have Jake, because Jake is currently sitting at the very far back of the point, as we can see right now. So this could be a back cap attempt, potentially. It could also be Fact Fiction diving in to kill a support with Jake. We'll see how this plays out. They basically gave up the last fight to get Jake into this position. Now they have to use it.
Pretty much 3:50 on the clock right now for Houston's attack. Snillo searching for him. He knows Jake's out there somewhere.
This is the battle of the sneaky tracers,
No
though.
kidding, yeah. I mean, Snillo, one of the sneakiest for sure. Throws a pulse bomb in. No kills on that one, though. Came close. He was a little bit behind his target.
Jake's in.
That one got eaten by Poco, though. Nope, nothing out of that pulse bomb. And now Houston trying to brute force it. EMP comes in for Carpe, but it doesn't catch either supports. They're going to use both support ultimates to try to keep it going. Zenyatta, or rather Linkser, pulling out the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, he's hacked, though, so he's not going to get any value out of it. Rockets, however, does take down Fraggy. Neptuno will be the next to die. Philadelphia was strung out, not on the point.
Neptuno's an aggressive Mercy, but that's not where you want to be, man. Not in a tiny room with a Genji. And Houston Outlaws getting a ton of momentum off of this. That's going to be them nearly taking the point already. Philadelphia scrambling here. Frankie and Poco on the point. They've got to stagger the tanks to try to delay, eat up as much time off this time bank as they possibly can.
Yeah, they have to start getting kills, though, Dylan. They don't have any ultimates, and that's not going to work.
2:45 on the clock, so a bit better for Houston Outlaws on their attack run.
However, on point A, the reason why the Outlaws got the purchase that they did was because after there was a pick, the Fusion overextended to try and punish it. And similarly on that point as well, towards the end, they tried to play very far forward, including Neptuno, who was caught out of position by the DPS of the Outlaws, disposed of, and then they pushed back onto the point. So it looked like a great EMP. However, you need everybody to commit to that, otherwise it's not going to work. So Fusion, their punishes here were not perfect as a team.
My favorite point in that round was when Linkser was just kind of hanging out in that little room by the health pack, and Neptuno just flies in with his blaster. It's like, I love you, Neptuno. Never change. Didn't work out that time, man, but don't give up. You've gotten a lot of kills with that blaster. I appreciate that.
I'm like 90% sure he's still leading the league with these kills. Oh, thank you.
There we go. Oh, I love it.
Well, he's
like,
hacked.
I got this.
So the reason why he thinks that's going to work is because there's a hack onto that Genji.
Yeah.
So he
can't blame
really
him.
wants to punish that.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I like that. I'd say do it more often.
He does it more often than anyone else already does.
I know. It's a ton of fun to watch. Philadelphia on the attack. They've got a little bit less time in the time bank, so they will go first in the extra rounds here on Volskaya Industries. Lynx are looking for shots already. That's what you do. Ooh. Nearly found an angle onto Neptuno there, and ooh, dangerous moment again. Carpe peeking.
So everybody going right side. This isn't something we see frequently, especially through that upper hallway, because Linkser can rotate to the other side as we see right now.
Yep, that's right.
And punish you as you try and walk across these open windows.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place to be. Poco's gonna need to be kind of body blocking if he doesn't have that defensive matrix. They get a couple of people across.
Everybody's across but Snillo now.
Uh-oh, Snillo on his own. Gets the blink, has to work out. Oh, here we go. There's a recall, they know exactly where he's gonna be. Snillo makes it back to his team. They managed to evade Linkser here. They're on the point, getting a little bit of control percent building up, but Houston just rotates around. Oh, Feely over by the health pack area. Now the kills start raining in.
They are going to get the res, though, because they're still controlling the space, and they force Carpe out of the window where he got that close-range snipe.
They've got that big health pack room, but Houston's not going to have any of it, man. They're diving in there. Neptuno, Boombox, both down, and without any supports, Philadelphia not going to last too much longer. Just a delay on the Carpe now. Back Fiction just tickling him a bit to cause that stagger.
I don't know if that's the play you want to call if you're the Philadelphia Fusion, because the issue with that is it takes so much time to safely rotate through that upper hallway because there's such a long distance you have to go. Also, you have to get rid of the Tracer, who's typically camping in that room first, or push her out. And now they find themselves with very little time left in the bank. They have a Valkyrie to use and a Transcendence, though. slightly ahead when it comes to their support ult economy.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get so aggressive though, and Fraggy already down about half health. Gotta take some time to heal him back up again. Full support ultimates, oh, but not both supports. Boombox gets caught. Linkser with a big pick there. The res is gonna come in. They're gonna bring him back up. Neptuno using the Valkyrie to get that AoE healing in. They gotta touch the payload. Snillo gets there just in time. Now the rest of the affiliates scrambling to catch up. Linkser down, but they're gonna need a few more people here.
I mean,
It's mostly Houston on there. Yeah, that's right. Self-destruct. Gonna catch anybody? No, not quite. Poco gets back into the mech. Neptuno in a good position for now to keep healing this diva. Oh, but now he's gonna get jumped on. Carpe there as well. Another self-destruct thrown in. Philly over the top of the room, and they're actually getting a little bit of momentum on the point here. Poco needs some healing though. They push back Fiction, and Philadelphia Fusion grinding this one out right now. Linkser dives in with the Doomfist, but it's not enough. Wow.
If Poco didn't remech right there, I think that's a one fight for the Houston Outlaws.
No doubt.
Neptuno will have the state of mind. He comes in to heal Poco, make sure he is going to stay alive long enough to get his mech back, and that means they have enough tankiness on the point to wait for some of those respawns to provide an opportunity for Carpe to line up a couple of shots on the Widowmaker. Carpe now onto the Genji. It is do or dive here in the last 10 seconds of the game.
I mean, you've got 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, you're not even at the point yet. Time to get in there, time to brawl, time to win a fight if you're Philadelphia Fusion. But Bonnie and Raucus ready to go. Raucus with that Transcendence to try to push Philly back. They get no kills out of that one though. Carpe pushed out, needs a bit of healing. Neptuno goes back in, Poco demacked, oh boy. Snillo down too, Raucus with a big pick there. And Houston Outlaws winning this fight. We're into OT, and I don't think Philly's gonna be taking this one.
Neptuno just jumps onto the point to keep it alive. Snillo and Boombox, the only one standing.
They can keep delaying. Boombox coming in with the Transcendence, they're keeping it alive, but it would be crazy for Philadelphia to make something work here. I think that's gonna be it. You know, a little bit of a disco fever on the point there with that Transcendence, but it's gonna be Houston holding in the end.
I love it when that happens. Zenyatta waving his arms around on the point, keeping it alive, but you know there's no hope in the end.
It's a moral victory, right? Wow. That was a fun one.
It was a fun one. We do have a replay of Raucus on that last point, taking a look at his first-person perspective from the Zenyatta. That was very clutch onto Snillo.
Oh, beautiful, both DPSs, and want to add more damage onto that. Raucus, of course, Zenyatta, a lot of people have been watching for a long time. This guy has been good for quite a while, and Houston with a pretty good chance if they can take point A. Not a single tick taken on point B. So it's all about the speed at which you go through this first area.
Carpe back on the Widowmaker, Snillo, of course, on the Tracer. So we're not seeing any divergence on point A. This has been the consensus best DPS duo across basically every team to play on point A ever since the Sombra changes came through, where she can't get the ult charge from the health packs any longer, has made her a less attractive option.
Monty, why don't you pull your knees all the way up to your chest when you jump like Widowmaker does?
That seems really like too much effort when you're jumping.
I bet it builds like really strong core though if you do that. Every time you jump, you pull your knees all the way up. I'm gonna start jumping like that.
Who needs a strong core when you have a grappling hook though?
That's a fair point. Houston on the attack here, about 2:30 now to try to get a bit of progress on point B to win this one, but first you need to take point A. Box down already. Wow, Linkser finds an early one. Rez comes in up right away, of course. Snillo trying to defend as best he can. Houston Outlaws already on the point. Snillo barely got out of that with his life.
Jake doing a good job of trying to find those openings when the resurrection is coming through for punishment. Didn't happen that time.
Good dive. Fraggy and Snillo combining for a lot of damage onto Jake there. And now Houston down a man. They're gonna have to back away.
No over pursuit this time. Notice that the Philadelphia Fusion are not playing with fire after the kill onto Jake. They are happy just to maintain their control over the point. They're not making the same potentially risky plays. Linkser was flanking on that Widow though. That is huge.
Oh man, what a big pick to take out Neptuno. Big 5v5 now as Snillo finds Jake. He's been winning a lot of these Tracer 1v1s.
Jake's gonna get revived though.
Yep, he'll get rezzed. Snillo down. That's a lot of kills for Houston, man. They just crush Philly. Easy point A take at this point.
Well, when the player that goes down for you is safely resurrectable, and you kill the enemy Mercy. There's not a lot of recourse to come back unless you get some huge kill or manage to punish the res in some way. Snillo did his best, but it wasn't enough. And this was the play that I believe started things off here. He's going to walk up the stairs, and Neptuno just all by his lonesome.
You don't expect
Carpe
that.
looking the wrong direction.
Jake with a kill onto Boombox to start out the assault onto point B. Remember, Houston only needs that one tick to win this map and take a lead in this series early on.
Jake harassed back off the point now, though. He's getting a little bit of healing, and that's going to be Fraggy taken down, but actually killing Coolmat simultaneously.
Transcendence comes in for Raucus. Backfiction batting people out of the way. They've started it, but without the Mercy, they can't really finish it right now. They've got time, though. 1 minute remaining for Houston.
They had a lot of ults at the start of that fight. No more Transcendence. Banny pretty far away from having the Valkyrie. And Carpe working his way back up to an EMP. He will have it before any support ultimates are out from the Outlaws, most likely. This is going to be a difficult push. I think we look like we're heading for a draw, Doa.
Certainly could be. Bonnie, I mean, probably going to have that Valkyrie pretty soon, but unless Raucus hits quite a few shots here in the next couple seconds, he's not going to have that Transcendence in time.
Linkser trying to get this Dragon Blade, poking cautiously onto point B.
You can't die. It's 20 seconds right now. You can't lose anybody if you're Houston.
He's got the Dragon Blade now, but he has no cover for it. At least they have the Valkyrie, so.
Yep, both teams have it. Carpe, EMP ready to go. Linkser pulls out the Dragon Blade. Gets hacked, though. Still chases down Carpe, but gets eliminated by Poco. Now Poco back on the point. Carpe rezzed. Of course, Bonnie gets a res on the Linkser, actually. Both Valkyries out. Linkser kills Boombox. Houston with a little bit of an edge. All they need is that one tick. And with that
Big hack,
EMP into the self-destruct. Jake and Bonnie couldn't get away. Houston still scrambling on the point as best they can. Coolmat gets two with his self-destruct. Insanity right now from these divas, and Houston still fighting it out on the point. They might just be able to do it off of Raucus's Transcendence. They are so close. They got it.
What a thrilling end to that point. Two self-destructs. Fusion. They throw the self-destruct in, knowing that people are in the open, so the EMP disabling their movement abilities picks up two. Guess what, though? Coolmat answers back as the Fusion all in the open, and they turn it right back around.
Wow, what an end to just the first map between these two teams. I told you it's going to be a great series. It definitely is, guys. Map number 2 coming up right after this. Do not go anywhere.
We win. Monkey first, at all costs. Come back. No bomb. I'm still baby now. I'm no
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. We have 12 of the best players in the Overwatch League on the stage right now.
There it is! Fraggy Bings the pain train! Carpe refusing to give an inch now. Coolmat gets himself two! Oh, he's home! Nicely done for Linksa. Linksa puts him to sleep. It's a huge kill from Boombox and Poco. Oh! Oh! Are you kidding me, Linksa? Oh, he's done it again! We're getting some quality Overwatch in a very close match.
Oh man, I love Philly versus Houston. This is actually really becoming one of my favorite matchups in the Overwatch League, and it just keeps delivering. I mean, one map down, and already, in like the final seconds of that map, we have 4 self-destruct kills, 2 on each side. It's crazy.
That was a hell of a way to end that map, Joe.
I'm excited about these other
exciting.
maps.
Both teams really playing well.
Yeah.
And it will be Muma back in for Fact Fiction. Fact Fiction.
Right.
Had some quality Winston play, and I think what he enabled was a more aggressive style of diving than we typically see from the Outlaws. Outlaws, of course, we know them for playing great Junkrat, Widowmaker, defensive combinations. They've been really strong at holding maps early on, getting a lot of those full holds, but they've struggled a bit on offense, and they've struggled with the dive composition.
Yeah.
That time, it looked like they were willing to commit more and deeper into some of those attacks than we're used to seeing.
You wonder if he might be a good pick for control maps, too, later on.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how they're going to work Fact Fiction into this roster when Muma is this great Winston player. But Fact Fiction, when the Overwatch began, that was one of the players who were like, oh, this guy really should have been picked up by a team. So it just feels right that he's in the league now, and I think he's a great fit for Houston. So we'll see how they decide to use him as we look forward towards Nambani is going to be our next map.
It was really weird in the first place that Fact Fiction wasn't picked up with some of the other players from FaZe. Obviously, he had a great performance on the USA World Cup team last year. Took a little bit of time, but now he is on an Overwatch League team and starting to get some play and performing at the level that we anticipate.
Yep, hasn't missed a beat. Welcome to Nambani, an opportunity for Philadelphia Fusion to tie things up. Houston Outlaws looking to get that 2-0 lead, but that said, last time a 2-0 lead didn't actually help them win the series in the end.
No.
So it's only over when it's over between these two teams, as that last map definitely illustrated.
And quite nearly a draw, and it has never been over between these two teams before map 5.
Very true.
I think we might well go the distance, but Houston Outlaws on a map that wasn't one of their strongest in the pool, coming up big on Volskaya. Now they're going to head into a map where they have a winning record. Philadelphia Fusion does not. This is a map that Philly historically has struggled on, even if they have looked better as of a more recent date. And Jake will be back on one of his specialty heroes, the Soldier 76. Linksa will take over on Tracer duties for defense on point A.
And Muma on the Symmetra. No, probably not forever. I wish. He's already gone back.
I think Muma just wants to have the most Symmetra time in the league. I think that's just what he's
clear
doing.
at this point, yes.
He's just building up fan hopes
Yep.
and then crushing them by switching back over to Winston.
Yep, that's right. He just wants it to say that Symmetra is his third most played, I guess, out of his hero pool. Yeah. Snillo stats. Short time playing compared to a lot of other players in the league, but at the moment, second in overall kill to death ratio. Not bad at all. I think part of it is that he's so sneaky about the way he plays. You don't get a lot of chance to fight back against Snillo.
He's very patient, doesn't die a lot, doesn't take a lot of risks, but does love hiding out in the back line and taking out a couple supports if he can.
Sure does.
Philadelphia Fusion once again with Carpe on the Widowmaker. This has become, the Tracer Widow has become their default composition without EQO in the lineup so far for stage 3.
What do you think about Houston not running the Ana on defense here? So you see Philadelphia moving up?
I mean, I think it's fine. Rockets has been popping off today on this Zenyatta, so keep him on a hero that he has been playing well on to this point in time.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a big deal,
Oh, dear. Yep, that's a lot of people dropping on the Houston side. Snillo is just like, yes, Carpe's been here.
Okay, Rockets is just going to kill the Zen and the Widowmaker.
All right.
I guess that's a reasonable response to that scenario.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, Carpe building a little bit of time on the point right now. Muma down, Neptuno getting killed by Cool Man.
Still is backcapping.
This is one of the weirdest point A's I think I've ever seen on Neptuno. That's one tick taken. Whoa, and what? Cool Man just, cool fade away 2K with the self-destruct. I don't know what's happening in this game anymore, guys.
He just
It's gotten
goes
very
in
weird.
and reses Linkser. That was one
Right.
of the weirdest
dead.
points I have seen.
I don't even know who's on attack and who's on defense anymore at this point. It's hard to say. Carpe just gets roasted by Muma. He's going to go back to the point. Houston Outlaws, of course, on the defense, trying to keep Philadelphia Fusion from taking him, but they've already gotten a tick.
And Carpe died in the main, and Neptuno, as you can see, is on the backside, so he can't actually go back to res.
All right, Muma gets tagged by Snillo. There's the pulse bomb. Gets rezzed by Fraggy, of course. Or no, gets rezzed by Neptuno. Fraggy, the one being rezzed. Not doing a lot of rezzing. Houston still on the defense. Snillo down on top of Raucus. He's there with Fraggy. Rockets down. They've got everyone pinned in the back lines here. Great dive by Snillo and Fraggy. That's the kind of thing you expect to see from Fusion these days.
And they're finally gonna just wipe the point after
Wow.
Carpe comes back with the infrasight. Oh, that was one of the weirdest Numbani point A's I think I've ever seen.
That really was. I felt like I was watching like an 8-player free-for-all or something, and it eventually ended with somebody getting a payload moving.
So, oh, he got caught barely in line of sight. He couldn't get around the corner, and he is at such low HP that even though there was a lot of distance between him and the self-destruct, it was just enough to take him out.
See, the tragic thing is if Diva dies right before the mech comes down, then she just falls on the ground, the mech lands on top of her. There's somebody in the control center in South Korea going, oh, whoops. Not my fault. Banny gets a res onto Muma again. Bring him back a couple times here. And point B progressing here. Jake opting that tactical visor, pushing Fusion back a little bit here. The payload has been stalled out for the moment. Fraggy pops that Primal Rage. Jake on the run, getting batted around. Nearly gets knocked off the edge. Oh, he gets back just in time. RP finds the kill onto Linkser, meanwhile, elsewhere.
But you used a couple of ultimates, use the tactical visor, and you have the Valkyrie, and you don't even stop the payload at all. Linkser was back trying to prevent it himself, and Carpe just clicked his head right off the objective.
Pretty much. Snillo down. Akas finds that one. Philadelphia Fusion withdrawing from the fight.
This has been a truly strange Numbani.
This has been super weird, but it's been fun. For us, anyway. I don't know how Philadelphia feels right now, but they are moving the... What? Okay, now Fraggy's just going to stealth push the payload a little bit. Houston responds. They get back there in time, but Boombox gets a kill onto Linkser. Philadelphia getting some momentum on this push now. Poco's got to get in there. They're going to draw out Raucus' Transcendence here. That's going to cover the res onto Linkser again. Zen Trance on the Philadelphia side too, and a bunch of kills coming in for the Fusion. Coolmat tries to get away, but there's only so much he can do. That is going to be a pretty definitively won fight. Carpe with the final finishing blow, and that's going to be point B for Philly.
Here's a stat for you, Doa.
All right.
Raucus has the highest number of final blows on the side of the Houston Outlaws so far in Numbani.
It's only a matter of time till all Zens have that. Whoa, nice flick from Carpe.
Now they're going to keep pushing in. Remember, despite all of the fighting that was going on, the payload was basically moving that entire time.
Yeah.
So that's actually left Philly with quite a bit of time on point C.
And they got 320 left. Boombox
Boombox
with a
kills
couple kills.
both DPS.
Dude, this is a scary day to be a DPS, and Yada's in this match are just like fragging out. All right, payload nearly there. It has not stopped. Boombox gets another one onto Linkser. There goes Raucus. Carpe finds one too. He's like, hey man, leave some of that for me. Goodbye, Jake. There's a self-destruct from Coolmat. Gonna be the Valkyrie coming in from Banny. Linkser swaps over to the Genji for some last-second heroics here. Coolmat D-Mac though. There goes Muma. Poco getting a couple himself. Oh, can't get away though from Coolmat, that Bunny Blaster. The most devastating Bunny Blaster in the league, no doubt.
Jake now out on the Doomfist. It's desperation stall time on the side of the Outlaws, and it's just not going to be enough.
No way, man. That is going to be a pretty quick attack run for the Philadelphia Fusion.
I don't really know what to say about that. That was so incredibly strange.
It was. It really was.
We're going to take a look at, I guess, a replay from Carpe.
Yeah, it's always fun. Yep.
At the end here to close things out, there's one support, and you know what? Take out Jake at the same time.
Oh, right, as he popped that attack visor, too.
Cut down the ultimate.
Yep.
Carpe.
It's nothing more embarrassing than getting a shot right after you say, I've got you in my, and then you can't finish it because somebody else actually has you in their sights.
You had 12 final
rough.
blows at the end of that. That is, wow, quite good indeed. But Raucus leading, tied actually with Cool Matt in eliminations and final blows that round. As the highest on the team. It was a pretty big struggle for the Houston Outlaws. Not what we expect from them on Numbani.
Yeah, 2:36 left in the clock for the Philadelphia Fusion after that attack round. Houston Outlaws now going to get their chance. That was just really strange. That's going to be one of those ones where I'm going to have to go back and watch the VOD a couple times to see how the teams exactly moved around in that one.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of stuff you couldn't even expect there because, of course, you think, oh, all right, Carpe gets the kill onto the Mercy to start off this fight, and it picks up another kill on top of that, but Raucus answers right back by killing Boombox and Carpe.
Yeah, and then Cool Matt's just like, whatever, man, I'll just get a couple people with my self-destruct and, you know, hold for a little bit. Not long enough.
That's a great stat. 7 of his 12 final blows were Linkser or Jake. They killed him 0 times in return. And so often Carpe was pushing the Outlaws DPS back off the payload while the supports just moved in freely.
Here come the Outlaws. Time to attack. Spray a banana on the bus. Why not? Here we go, taking that high ground. Ooh, lots of shots on Amuma. He's like, please, heal me. Bada.
He'll just heal himself. It's fine.
That's right, okay, gets the health back.
Dive composition right now. Carpe playing the low ground, covering the main choke point on the street.
He's just standing on the payload, daring them to jump in, and then he can just grapple his way out. Carpe down though, Raucus found him. Yet another kill for the Zenyatta. Snillo down as well. Houston Outlaws with a great start in this fight. Banny gets the res onto Raucus after he went down. Cool Matt D-Max, but Philly with not a lot of people left to stop this attack. They've nearly got it already. Poco kind of on his own here. On the point.
Yeah, they're just going to have
That's
to
it.
give it up.
Whoa, that was fast.
Very fast. Yeah.
Jinx.
And I mean, Carpe trying to play that low ground, but as soon as they realize that Carpe can't actually help them once the dive goes onto the supports, that's when the Houston Outlaws identify that point of weakness, strike right where the payload is passing right now, and start to get their player advantage.
So enter point B. Houston with a great start to this attack run. Here comes the Valkyrie from Banny. Carpe down. Linkser finds him with the pulse bomb. The fight begins in earnest. Boombox gets Linkser though. Are they going to be able to res? We'll see. No Fraggy. Neptuno gets the res on the Carpe as Philadelphia scrambles to defend this one. Jake with the reflect. He's going to get the transcendence out of Boombox. Philadelphia trying to regroup to maybe fight this one at the end of point B. The payload still stopped. Nobody from Houston was actually there.
Unlike Philadelphia, they did not get the payload movement throughout that engagement. Cool Matt will be the next one to fall.
Boombox just getting a couple kills here. I kind of assumed they were going to keep somebody on the payload to keep it moving, but they didn't. And so, as Philadelphia pushes Houston back, that payload kind of stuck in the middle of it.
Linkser and Jake isolated. They will be able to zip out before they are staggered. Carpe, surprisingly, is still on the Widowmaker. He got killed during his infrasight at the start of that fight, and I thought for sure he would change over to the McCree.
You've still got a nice long sight line on this point, or this part of point B anyway. Got that high ground. So.
It is that they've had his number, and they so easily dealt with him on point A.
True. How long can you expect to do that against a player like Carpe, though?
Well,
Carpe says not much.
In the last few weeks, it's been difficult to handle Carpe's Widowmaker, already with another infrasight.
He's definitely got that confidence. Escaping the Dragon Blade now. Jake chasing him down. Gonna settle for trying to cut Poco out of his mech. Gonna get that one. Gonna get Poco as well. Raucus, meanwhile, down on the other side. The res comes in on Poco almost immediately. So Philadelphia Fusion not missing too much. Oh, but Carpe not missing anything as he takes out Linkser. Gotta get out of that self-destruct though. Gets around the corner just in time. It's going to be okay. Philadelphia still holding this just before the end of point B, and they're going to drop the self-destruct right onto it. Poco gets back into the mech. Instead, Jake, a lot of damage onto him. Houston just trying to push this payload the rest of the way through, but Philly's not letting him have it, not yet.
And now Fraggy is back also.
not for
Immediately
now.
dies to cool that though.
Yeah, Valkyrie was used by Neptuno, trying to keep everybody else up. They get Muma, so both Winstons down. Here comes the res, I think. Yeah, Frankie brought back up by Neptuno. Once again, they cover it with the Transcendence. Whoa, from downtown, Linkser throws in the Pulse Bomb, but doesn't get any kills out of it. Meanwhile, Bonnie falls on the other side of the Pulse Bomb of Snillo, and so that payload's still not there yet. It's 0.07 meters away. There we go, finally. So 4 minutes, still a pretty quick time for Houston Outlaws.
Very good time overall. You can't be complaining about that. And Philadelphia Fusion, one thing that they excel at is getting those resurrections in the middle of the fight thanks to the Transcendence. However, that also means that if you're playing against the Philadelphia Fusion, you almost expect that to happen right now. You expect Fraggy to go in, absorb a lot of that damage, and for them to use both of their support ults to help clean up that fight.
Yep.
Now Carpe on the McCree at long last.
Yeah, well, just in the nick of time, he's got a couple kills already. Whatever you say, Mercy. It's the res on the Fraggy here.
As usual.
Yep, 3 minutes now for Houston Outlaws. Good amount of time here, but they're going to need to finish fast if they want to have more time in the time bank than Philadelphia. That's looking less and less likely until we see a massive fight right here.
Yeah, it's not going to be possible anymore. There will be enough stall there.
Should be. Coco hiding out. This is one of those points where that self-destruct can be very devastating. Snillo comes in with the Dragon Blade. Has to pop the Reflect just to stay alive. Meanwhile, Tranquility as Raucus rolls in with the Transcendence. Muma, meanwhile, with the Primal Rage, gets hit with that flashbang, but still okay for the moment. Takes some damage, gets back to his team just in time. Boombox pops the Tranquility on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. Carpe and Fraggy down. Houston nearly has it there. 0.15 meters to go. They're so close. Poco, the only one stopping them at the moment.
Oh, he does get the reback too.
Yep, Neptuno down. Coolmat runs him over. Poco trying to avoid fire, but can't quite do it. Carpe back in on the Doomfist, doesn't last long. And Fraggy with no healing can't stay alive. And that will be Houston finishing. A little bit less time in the time bank, but they do get things done.
30 seconds less, but both attack rounds have been one-sided on Noombani. And now it's going to come down to who can take this point A, any part of it at all, or we could even still see a draw at this stage.
I mean, it seems like out of these two teams, Houston was the one to take point A a bit quicker than Philadelphia did. They got held up a little bit more on B, whereas Philadelphia took a little bit longer to take A, but then they kind of cruised through B and C for the most part.
And now we're going to see the Philadelphia Fusion trying this Widowmaker strategy again that was easily read by Houston. And they have to prevent Houston from setting up for the dive this time. They may move their supports around also so they're not backed up into the street on the far side of the point.
Carpe does this a lot on this point, and I like it in theory because you stand on the payload, then they use their movement abilities to get to you, and you just grapple away and laugh, right? But if you're kind of accounting for that, like Houston was, you can catch that Widowmaker pretty easily. So they did it well last time. You'd imagine they can probably repeat it, but we'll see what Philly has as far as adaptation goes.
5, 4, 3.
And they're not going to...
1.
It's like, okay, they are going to move their supports to the opposite side of the map, or at least the Mercy. Poco and Boombox will be there on the high ground, and that's how you do it. Started off, the Resurrection will be there.
Yep.
Every second is precious, however.
Oh, that reflect
That
right
was
there.
brilliant.
Yeah. Jake protecting his Linkser there as Carpe was ready to get that shot right if the res ended. Jake with the reflect. Linkser takes another big shot here. Carpe just not missing anybody. Uma getting some control percent building up. They're going to get one tick. Philadelphia Fusion needs to get there, needs to defend it. Carpe coming in behind Poco here. A little bit of blocking from the Diva, but Poco going to get demeched. Carpe in a lot of trouble here. They need to get more big bodies on the payload. Fraggy with only about half health, they can't touch it. And once again, Houston just rocks through point A.
But that's the issue. When you have this defense, you can't retake the point. So if they're hiding in that corner and the Widowmaker has already been zoned out in the far direction where the payload is heading, there's not really much you can do. You either have to hope that one of the Houston Outlaws DPS peaks, which they absolutely should not, or that Snillo is going to be able to kill or flush someone out, and that didn't happen either. So I feel it's too dependent on mistakes of the enemy team.
And those mistakes are not coming from Houston today. Not on this map, at least. Snillo does find Raucus, though, as the payload gets moving. I mean, that's what Snillo does, though. He sneaks into your back line. He gets one clips on your supports. Raucus gets rezzed anyway.
It was around the corner, so there wasn't a way for them to prevent that without playing too far forward. Vanny going to use the Valkyrie now. Same with Neptuno.
Oh, Carpe gets a kill into Jake, though. Boombox so narrowly avoids being stuck with that grenade from Linkser. Finds Fraggy in the hallway. Fraggy, no time for close shopping for him. He's got to try to finish off this Tracer. Can't quite do it. Boombox drops the self-destruct. Oh, and he gets Neptuno. That's big. Forces an early transfer from Boombox as Philadelphia needs a lot of healing to try to contest this. Muma down via the Pulse Bomb, and we're into overtime. Houston needs to stick to that payload if they're going to keep this push going. Dragon Blade from Jake. Gets a kill onto Fraggy, looking for a bit more. Reflect comes in, slashes away. Boombox gets another one. That's 2 for Jake, the payload. Gonna make a little bit of progress here.
Infrasight is up, but Carpe's not hitting the shots. That's the big difference maker. Muma gonna go pressure him and push him out.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, that payload is still moving, man. If they can take point B here, that would be absolutely crazy for an overtime push. Poco comes in with no health, but he does have the self-destruct. Everybody has to hide. That's 2. Linkser and Raucus couldn't get away. And now Philadelphia with a real chance to hold this one here. Cool Matt D-Mac, and that may be about it. Nice pulse bomb on Nabani. And as Jake falls, Muma now with a lot of health left, that's it. Houston Outlaws nearly gets point B. It was a valiant effort, but Philly holds them.
Well, when you only have 2 minutes, nearly making it to point B
That's
is a
good.
feat in and of itself.
Yeah, that was a great push from Houston.
Philadelphia has to match that with only 30 additional seconds. And I really feel like the Philadelphia Fusion here, as good as Carpe has been, a lot of these setups on defense require the enemy to make positional mistakes. And Outlaws are playing this smart around Carpe's Widow. They're respecting him. But once you get pushed out of that point, retaking with that Widow is so difficult. And then even through the Streets phase on point B, when Philly had an advantage, they couldn't capitalize because Carpe didn't have the angles or wasn't hitting the shots he needed to. And that gives the Outlaws a lot longer push than we might otherwise have seen with a different composition.
So Philadelphia with about 32 more seconds in their time bank than Houston started things off with. So in theory, if they're able to push through A, they're going to have a little bit more time with the payload before overtime begins. So we'll see if they can make the most of it here. Their attack was not quite as quick as Houston when they attacked the first time, but it was still pretty decent.
Yeah, Houston, however, playing the dive defense, I think they're really confident in their abilities to stay out of Carpe's sights. I would be right now. They're playing smart, they're playing cautious, and it's paying off.
That's right. Defense for Houston has to be airtight.
Coming around the far side now. Jake already up on that high ground. Snillo sent forward to do a little bit of scouting underneath. They move their tanks through the main choke on the street.
Now, Lynx are opting not to get into the Tracer v Tracer right there. Meanwhile, the high ground, Carpe and Poco finding kills early on. Great start. Fanny Jake down. Cool Matt responds with a kill onto Fraggy, and Carpe falls as well. Man, Raucus has just been like the 3rd DPS here, shoring things up. Neptuno! Oh, he got the res onto Fraggy, but he paid for it. Boombox might, meanwhile, get some revenge by taking out Linkser, but Poco just rolling through everybody, setting up the picks for Boombox. And that's going to be Philly with possibly a quick point A here.
That was a great collapse from the Philadelphia Fusion. They sent their tanks up. They faked going underneath with Snillo, sent their tanks through the main choke point, and then had their DPS on the high ground in a pincer maneuver to catch the Outlaws.
I mean, Neptuno knew he needed to get that res onto Fraggy. I mean, they needed to get that tank back either way, and so it was a big risk to take. It didn't pay off, but you can't really blame him for trying, I think, in that situation, despite the obvious risk.
Yeah, but now they're going to be pushing. They still have a minute, so some time here to get it all the way to the end of this point.
Yep.
You see the Outlaws still so careful about this Widow.
They have to hold here. 1 minute remaining for Philly, so they do have a lot more time in the time bank than Houston did to go through this point B. Got to get it around the corner, though. Snillo sneaking, has the pulse bomb loaded up now. Philadelphia Fusion with nearly 5 ultimates. Carpe just used that infra sight. They know where Houston is. Oh, and they use it to take down Bounty. Snillo with a great pick there. No, nothing out of that pulse bomb. Looked like it was going to come up big, though.
Lynx are now pushing forward. Does end up with a pistol whip from Snillo.
Oh, goodbye, Muma. Everybody finishing him off inside the room. Nice shot onto Coolmat from Carpe. He's got the high ground advantage. You don't need to be Anakin Skywalker to know what that means.
But that means Houston Outlaws, they drew out the Valkyrie. They'll have 2 support ults on this last fight. So they set themselves up in terms of ult economy. Carpe gets a shot on the Lynxer, but he will be rezzed.
Yep, that's right. Now the Transcendence comes in from Raucus. They have to sit on that payload. Jake, oh, kill onto Carpe. Chase him down. Boombox with the Transcendence. Jake looking for a bit more. He's got the healing from his Mercy. He can be aggressive. But man, they are just there. 1 meter to go for Philadelphia to tie up this series.
And Poco will be able to get the read back right now.
Oh, they get it. Philadelphia Fusion pulls it off. Wow. All right. We have ourselves a series.
And when you just need those last couple meters, self-destruct and primal rage are absolutely the ultimates you want to push people off and put you over the finish line to tie this up going into halftime.
Wow, 2 pretty epic maps so far between these teams. It's been really close, both on Volskaya Industries, now on Dembani. I think this one could definitely go the distance, as they often do with these 2 teams. Don't go anywhere, guys. Halftime coming up. The desk is going to break down those first 2 maps. We'll see you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. As expected, we've got a good one. After Houston clutched up on Volskaya Industries, Philly responded with a huge win on Numbani to even this one up at 1-1. Learn to read, guys. Welcome back, everybody. It's
Learn to read,
Puckett.
guys.
We've got
Puckett.
Bren. We've got Crumbs. And we've got a great series on our hands. We knew this was going to be a good one. The last two went to a Game 5 already. Our teams trading blows. And we should start here with Volskaya Industries because we saw some new faces coming in. Fact Fiction stepping up for the first time on tank. But it was Raucus who got things going early for the Houston Outlaws. So many bloody Zen bodies here at the end of these fights.
We really did. And the Zenyatas were getting such a better hand over the DPS in this map, but I just want to get this out of the way so we can move on to the games. I felt like Fraggy and Neptuno through this map. I'm just going to leave it at that. Individually, we saw them diving into some very questionable situations that could have solved out a lot more. Other than that, let's go right in.
Battle Mercies for the win. I'll never get mad at that.
This is the play right here. I specifically asked, but it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on there?
Never chase a Finnish man into a closet.
Absolutely. Life lessons. You learn that at a young age in Finland.
Especially when they got that Genji blade. Lynx are punishing Neptuno. As you mentioned, though, that Battle Mercy kind of threw off the defense for the Philadelphia Fusion. I want to get your guys' opinion, though, on Fact Fiction, because that was the biggest surprise for me. Muma isn't sick or anything. We saw him in Game 2. So this was clearly a team decision to try out their new main tank.
Yes, so I personally believe that it's actually part of the fact that they want to run a more aggressive main tank, and we've got some statistics that show you a head-to-head that kind of proves this point, actually. Comparing with Fraggy in this match, you look at the final blows on the supports. That's the important one. Third one right in the smack bang in the middle. 11 for Fact Fiction, 5 for Fraggy. And that really just shows as well throughout that game, Fact Fiction was prioritizing the back lines a lot more, whereas Muma plays a lot more defensively in a way. Fact Fiction was going full-on aggressive with the counter dives. So it's a change-up in strategy, a change-up in sort of play style from Houston. And that, I mean, if you're prepping for Muma, that's going to throw you off in this game, to be honest.
It's really surprising to see. I didn't expect the new guy to come in and make very aggressive plays. However, I feel like Houston at the moment, the plays that they want to do are a little more advanced than the practice that they have so far. They're going for some very complicated moves, especially with the backcapping Genji or the Tracers that require such a delicate amounts of finesse that they're almost there, but it's not quite ready.
Game number 1 was all Houston Outlaws at the end. Game 2, though, was Philly bouncing back as we take a look at Numbani Carpe showing up, living up to the hype on his Widowmaker. Picked some faces quite early on A. It's Philadelphia Fusion on the attack. Houston, though, once again, I felt like they were in a position to win this game. What happened towards the end, guys?
I mean, again, it's like that Carpe effect is the way I like to talk about it, because this guy, we mentioned how he could be a top-tier DPS, and in this game, he definitely showed why that is the reason for it. Like, the amount of shots that he's hitting off, right? He has such an individual impact as a player that's kind of rare to have in Overwatch because the nature of the very game is so team-orientated. The fact that he can get so many of these picks and make so many big plays, this was the game when it
Pokeball
right there, the Poko.
Well, I think what's going on here is that Philly's taking full advantage of the range in a lot of these times. Boombox's accuracy has been stellar, and him combined with Carpe are creating such a large amount of space between Houston and the important members that need to be hit that they're most likely going to create opportunities for them to either get a pick, chunk somebody off, or not buy enough time so that by the time the dive comes in from Houston, which is what they're trying to do, is already stifled. It's not as healthy as it should be. So I think that they're playing those two heroes, the Zen and Widow, really well here.
Guys, I want to ask about the individual matchups here. When you look at the stage, I see specific players matching up with others on the other side. Carpe and Lynxer. I guess, is that fair? And then you have Jake, of course, versus Snillo in the mix. Muma or Fact Fiction going up against Fraggy. Who do you think is having the individual edge as you look at the micro level?
Carpe for sure, in terms of that individual micro level. Like, you can't really say
Snillo
that.
too.
Snillo as well. Yeah, I think that both the DPSs are outperforming currently what Houston Outlaws are bringing. The where Houston excel is where their tanks lie, essentially. Like Fact Fiction, I was very surprised with his performance. You know, if they decide to bring him back out for the next 2 maps, that won't surprise me too much given the way he was playing. But also Muma, Kulmat, these two guys, again, they have always a good game, always consistent across the board, never really underperforming. So that's really what you got to base it on.
I'm looking for more Raucus versus Boombox in the second half as well. And we have Ilios and Junkertown coming up. So we don't know which one of these supports is going to be flexing on a Roadhog, something that seems very prevalent on our 4th map. But let's talk about the second half. Coming into this, you said Houston was going to walk away with the victory today. They're going to end the 3 streak. What about you, Crumbs? You were going Philadelphia.
That's right.
Either of you guys want to flip here at the half?
Absolutely not. Just a 1-1. I don't think it's cause for any of that nonsense yet.
None of that nonsense.
Bren, you confident here with Ilias and Junkertown, or do we go to a game 5?
I'm still confident. I still feel like Ilias might be a bit tricky because of the way that the DPS of Houston have been playing, but I'm still convinced that they do have the capabilities to bring the fight to them and take it.
Things have played out as we'd expect. It is a close match, 1-1, and then if it comes down to a game 5, you only give Philly the slightest edge there because they've played more game 5s and won more of them. So that's really where it can come down to the wire.
Well, I want to give a moment and give a shout out to everyone here in the Blizzard Arena. Remember, at the end of the show, you are signing Sideshow's cast. But I want to know, who are you cheering for right now? How many people want to see the Philadelphia Fusion take this series against the Outlaws? Pretty decent cheer coming in. How many people want to see the Outlaws lock it up on Ilios and Junkertown? Seems like an Outlaws crowd. Let us know in the chat, and of course on Twitter, use the hashtag OWL2018. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. When we come back, it's a big control on the map Ilios. You don't want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We expected it to be a close game, and sure enough, it has been a close game as we're all tied up in this matchup between the Houston Outlaws and the Philadelphia Fusion, 1-1. And I gotta say that I've been very much enjoying the abundance of Diva Bomb eliminations, self-destruct eliminations. I'm just a sucker for good Diva play, I gotta say. Speaking of tanks, for all you guys who have our All Access Pass on Twitch, tonight there will be a tank hosting our AMA. Fraggy, from the Philadelphia Fusion will be taking all of your questions at the end of the night when the matches are over. So hop on in, ask him questions, ask him what he likes to eat, or ask him if he enjoys being the bouncer for the Philadelphia Fusion House. Any of those things, you can ask him after the games are over. But we still have a whole another half to go. It is anyone's game. So let's go ahead and get back into the action with our casters, Monty and Doa.
Thanks, Malik. That's right. We are all tied up after 2 games between Philadelphia Fusion and the Houston Outlaws. This series always delivers, and I would not be surprised at all to see a Game 5. But to get there, you think Philadelphia must win Ilios?
I think that they are in a better position to take Ilios, even though both of our teams have losing records on this map.
Okay.
They're about there at about 40% win rate. The problem is you go to Junkertown, and this is the Outlaws playground. They're 5-1 overall on this map. It's a chance for them to play some of their best compositions like Widowmaker, Junkrat. I would not personally want to have to win a match against the Outlaws there. Make it comfortable for yourself, Philadelphia. Take Ilios, and then we can go to that 5th game.
Logical. Boink in for Bonnie, as we nearly always see for the Houston Outlaws on control maps. As we look ahead to Ilios, you know, you say that about Junkertown, and I can't argue with you there, but then again, we did just see Philadelphia win on a map that they were 2-4 on overall coming into this match. So anything is possible.
I guess with Ilios, though, I like the fact that with Philadelphia, they're going to play more McCree. I think that as well as Philadelphia did in that last map, it was still closer than you would have liked, and I think a lot of that were some stubborn Widowmaker strats that Outlaws had a good strategic read on.
I mean, if you're going to be prepping against Philadelphia, obviously one of the things you're going to be prepping against the most is being ready for where Carpe's Widowmaker is going to show up and how you're going to deal with that. And it looks pretty decent for Houston so far, despite that narrow loss on Nimbani. But we are going to our control map right now. Best of 3 King of the Hills style action here on Ilios. And we're going to start things out on Well.
And Jake has taken up the reins of the Sombra in stage 3 for the Houston Outlaws. We've seen him play this before on control. As you can see, you know, usually Linkser is the dominant counter sniper. It has been Carpe winning so far.
Carpe is one of the best. I mean, Linkser is too, but Carpe just seems like he's been on another level recently. On an individual scale, Poco gets hacked, has to run for the hills, takes a lot of damage. Boink gets a double boop, I think, on the boot box and Carpe. That's got to be what that was, and what a start for Houston.
And they're running this low-range composition, and all they have to do is death ball at you with the Moira, and if they catch you in one of those side corridors,
let's see that one again.
Quick hack can make a big difference. And this is going to be him coming out. Nice boop.
Oh, boy, wow.
Beautiful setup from the Houston Outlaws, punishing the flank positioning of the Fusion.
Being third eye blind right now, I wish you'd step back from that ledge, my friend, because otherwise Boink is going to knock you off of it.
I'm pretty sure that's how the rest of that song goes, Doa.
Yeah, that's right. That's how it would have been if I would have wrote it. If I would have went ahead in time, saw this, then went back in time.
And then wrote a third eye blind song.
I like stories about time travel. Jake hacks the health back here. Houston trying to hold the point, 32% already as Philadelphia assaults it here. Pulse bomb goes in. Did he get the sig? No, not quite. No damage out of that one for Linkser. No kills at least. Movement does go down though. Carpe finds it. Fraggy down. Both Winston's out of commission here. Rezing coming in. Fraggy brought back up by Neptuno. He's going to be able to get the position to do that. Houston still holding for the moment. They've got 50%. It's a good stall so far from the Outlaws. And that EMP up right now for Jake. Carpe gets a Deadeye onto Coolmat. Jake with a good chance to respond with the Sombra ultimate. He's going to look for that kill on the Boombox. EMP looks for Boombox, gets it right before the flashbang comes in though. And Philadelphia picking up all the kills despite that EMP.
Jake was a little by himself. He ran all the way around the rear of the Fusion formation, tried to get that EMP, and sure, he succeeded, but Carpe was there to punish him, standing right next to Boombox.
Yeah, and then Neptuno just brings in the res after the fight's over, so not the coordination that you're really looking for if you're going to use that EMP. Houston, though, did manage to build up 66% before the point flipped back over.
Sound barrier used early, But Philadelphia backs off and will wait for it to die down.
Yeah, that's right. They've got time. The control meter halfway through. Houston, they flip it. Whoa, okay. So pushing back Philadelphia enough. Now the Transcendence comes in for Boombox. Both support ultimates used on the Philly side. They need to win this fight in a hurry. They've got Rockets. It's a good start. Cool Matt demeched. Meanwhile, Muma trying to knock some people off. He gets Boombox there.
Ends up getting booped closer by Boeing to finish off the kill onto Cool Matt.
Yeah, doesn't make it out of the fight alive, though, and Philadelphia Fusion will steal the point right back. They do give up to 81% for Houston. See that replay here. Thanks for doing work. Hoping to get that kill into Snow. A nice stick. Whoops. That ended up sounding more sarcastic than I meant. But,
you cast or cursed him in the past.
I did. Like I said, I love stories about time travel. That one, that bolt bomb not accomplishing much for Snillo. It's one of those days. Houston Outlaws pops the Coalescence, trying to retake the point here. DPS hiding in the room now. Exiting, trying to find a kill on the Lynxer. Fraggy can't really join the fight until he gets a bit more healing here. Houston with a nice spread around the outside of the point, and they're gradually pushing Houston back.
Snillo low on HP, being actually hacked there at the end. Lynxer wants to keep coming in, but he dodges right into Snillo's sight.
Yeah, Snillo's got his left clicks, and apparently that's all you need. Houston, though, does get the point. They are going to keep building here. 80% for Philly, but 90% for Houston Outlaws.
Jake alone on the flank is going to be pursued by Fraggy, who uses the Primal Rage just to stay alive. Jake is already way in the back again.
Yep, that's right.
But Houston up to 99%. They've maintained this control the entire time.
Yeah, but it's going to be a flip for Philadelphia Fusion, and they are getting near 90% themselves there after that fight, and they have the ultimates to try to hold.
And they do, but a Coalescence coming up on the side of the Outlaws, and they already have the sound barrier to engage. Both these teams looking about even when it comes to that ult economy.
Remember, a crucial map for Philadelphia is they don't really want to have to try to tie things up on Junkertown. Sound barrier used by Houston. They're going to go in. Raucus nearly has that Coalescence. Carpe gets Boink with the Deadeye. Good start for Philly here. Gets moved around, but as he exits, that Ban the Hammer, man, the damage coming out of this guy. Snillo finishes off Muma. Coalescence dodged by Carpe, goes in at the end of it. Covered by that self-destruct. Lynxer, nice shot. Wow, Carpe. He's going to find you no matter what hit scan hero he's playing. That is that. Philadelphia Fusion going to take the first round here on Ilios.
It was Carpe's bouncy castle at the end of that fight, getting booped around by everybody on the side of the Outlaws. Somehow, he manages to have true aim throughout all of that movement. That's a great start for the Fusion here on Ilios. It will make their lives easier if they don't have to win on Junkertown.
Now we're going to the ruins now, so it's time for a Widowmaker battle. You know, we saw the stat earlier. Carpe coming out on top of that one for the most part in this series.
Yeah, that was the straight head-to-head stat, though, so that includes a lot of the Genji play that we were seeing from Lynxer and Tracer play.
That's a good point. Here we go. Houston Outlaws looking to tie things up on Ilios. Give themselves a lead in the series. Carpe versus Lynxer. Widowmaker versus Widowmaker. Carpe taking the low ground early.
Yeah, Carpe trying to shoot across the point into the hallway.
It nearly gets Raucus, though.
Yeah, sidesteps the volley, but he won't have an angle onto the point right now.
There we go.
However, Lynxer opts into the duel.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled Lynxer down into a little bit of an awkward duel, and now you're entering Carpe's realm there, and he was ready for you. I don't mean like a river or something where most carps reside. I mean a narrow hallway with that. You don't usually fight Widow v Widow in. So 9%, 10% already for Philadelphia Fusion. Their control percent building first. Oh, the peaks. So dangerous here for Raucus. They have the defensive matrix, but that's still a risky one. And that's exactly why. That is exactly why.
Just stop peeking there, please.
I know, right? Like, oh, we'll get him this time. 2 out of 3, not yet, no.
Getting creative. You see the jumps coming in from Raucus as he fires his volley there, hoping for the headshot, but
don't take that risk.
This is the Carpe corridor now, Noah, and I don't think anybody's going to take it away from him, not with Infrasight.
Yeah, I mean, what they're trying to do is have a tank peek out first to draw the shot from Carpe, and then you peek with someone who can actually kill the Widow. But Carpe's not really taking that bait.
Everybody just hiding now from Carpe until the Infrasight goes away, but that's about 23%. Oh, that was a close one.
Man, Carpe's on fire right now here. Snillo getting out. Meanwhile, Houston Outlaws still trying to find a way to work their way onto the point. They're pretty much there. Boink, pop that Valkyrie early. Well, that's a shot on a Jake Carpe. So ready this time. Linkser did get the D-Mech onto Poco. But Carpe unassailable so far. As I say that, Kumat runs in. Carpe under a lot of pressure. There's the D-Mech though. Did I say a lot of pressure? Didn't really mean it. Boink gets a res onto Muma, but a lot more members of Houston dropped during that time. 80% for Philadelphia Fusion. They are crushing Ruin so far.
And just because of the kill onto Jake, the Infrasight doesn't have as much value. And the Houston Outlaws sitting at a goose egg of a percent right now. They haven't even figured out a way to get onto this objective.
96% Philadelphia, nearly to 99. Houston needs to contest right now. They're going to send in Muma. Gotta keep him alive, though. He's gonna primal rage. Carpe, whoa, over the top onto Raucus.
He's behind enemy lines. He's on a guerrilla mission to take out the supports, and he gets one.
Yeah, but looks like he's gonna kill the gorilla last. It's Snillo's job to take down him. Muma to finish off with that pulse bomb, and it's gonna be all Philadelphia Fusion. A quick 2-0, wow. They needed to win it, they won it.
It's like they were throwing their bodies into Carpe's crosshairs for a lot of that point.
That was, I mean, that was kind of like putting yourself on a silver platter and feeding yourself to Carpe.
Fish food, as it were.
Fish food, that's right. Yep. You know, sometimes you say Carpe, use the Carpe, but they tried. Houston gave it a shot, but they couldn't do it.
Well, Carpe will end that with 21 eliminations, 15 final blows, and just a single death Doa on Ilios.
That was short but sweet for the Fusion fans. Houston Outlaws hoping for a tie on Junkertown. We'll get there in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Let's get it.
We got a packed house here in the Blizzard Arena.
Oh! It's time. Oh!
Soon takes him out. Gamzu gonna go primal raid. Hobie comes in.
4K, 4 hydration.
And now Jester can go to town.
Libero getting all the kills right now. It's crunch time.
They need to be ready to bring out the A game.
They've got such incredible talent in this roster, and they are not holding back.
Oh, here we go. Who would have thought this would be so close?
No way.
Yes, it's happening. All the good stuff.
Welcome back, guys. We're going into map 4 already. I kind of thought map 3 would be a little bit longer than it was, but Philadelphia Fusion just kind of crushing it on Ilios.
I think that's what's so interesting about the Philadelphia Fusion right now is I can criticize their strategies as not being ideal on Numbani, but if Carpe's just going to pop off every time, then he's going to make it work. But
Why not? Here
it
we
will
go.
be Snillo surprisingly subbed out for Shadowburn, probably for some Junkrat play from Shadowburn on this map.
Makes sense. Bonnie back in for Boink. The normal swap from the Houston Outlaws. Usually they just like to bring in Boink for the control maps. A little bit more confident in his Lucio play. We are going to Junkertown, and Houston Outlaws obviously need to win this one if they want to stay in it and force a map 5, and that would not shock me at all since both times these teams have met in the Overwatch League, we've gotten a Game 5 from it. So it's been a pretty tight race the entire way through. We'll see if Stage 3 goes the way that the first 2 stages have. It's been Philly winning in the end both times, so Houston Outlaws looking to change history here with a win on Junkertown and then a win on Oasis after that.
But this is the time where the Houston Outlaws fans should have their spirits lifted. They're 5-1 on Junkertown.
Yep.
This is a map where you get to see them run their strongest heroes, where Jake gets to play the Junkrat, Linkser gets to play the Widowmaker, and Raucus has also been surprisingly good on the Roadhog on defense here. Really does play into the wheelhouse of the Houston Outlaws. Philadelphia Fusion bringing Shadowburn in because they want a better composition in this map, and also I think to warm him up. He came in cold last time they played at map 5, and that wasn't really the ideal outcome for the Philadelphia Fusion. You can warm him up in Junkertown now and then have him play on Oasis if you need him.
Well, the Outback seems like a pretty warm place, so I'd say that probably
It
works
is
pretty well.
I've been there.
Does seem warm. Well, did it look like that?
Yeah, there was a giant shanty. There was a giant shanty skyscraper.
I was wondering. That sounds cool. Yeah, check that out. Maybe next time. All right. Philadelphia Fusion getting ready to attack. Houston Outlaws setting up the defense. You'd have a good one, Jake, on the Junkrat. No surprise there. And Raucus on the Roadhog, and I mean, with the amount of kills this guy's been getting on Boombox this series, you're like, no, I think he could do more damage as a Zenyatta, but they're going to go with the strat they've used quite a bit here, that triple tank with the pick comp. And here we go. Fusion on the attack, trying to put this series away with a win here on Junkertown. For the first time, they could avoid a map 5 against Houston in the Overwatch League. They'll give it a shot.
2 supports up for the Philly Fusion. Not going to be falling back to a single Mercy, as some teams prefer. Carpe, who's been on fire tonight. Some people say it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I say it's like a fish shooting Outlaws in a barrel.
This barrel, the fish shoots you. Oh, Fraggy has to get res there. Whoa, that's a lot of damage. Onto Linkser, barely escapes with his life. Carpe being trickier. You don't know which side he's going to show up on. Oh, but then Raucus gets a hook. Carpe grapples away. A hook to be nearly killed, a hook to escape. And a tire to find the kill onto Carpe. Eventually, Boombox down as well. So Houston winning that defensive fight. They're going to send Philadelphia back to spawn.
It's all about breaking this first defense for the Philadelphia Fusion. It is a challenge against the Outlaws to perform well. I think fortunately for Fusion, they got the first Riptire out of the way when they had already lost the fight. Have to play into the infra site though. If they can wait this one out. Nope, they can't.
All right then, highlight reel incoming. So gets a couple there.
Not sure about walking into the open during the infra site. I think you just hold off on that one. You lose less time.
It would worry me a bit. If it were me, I'd be concerned. Oh, that hook not working out for Raucus. Threw it into the wall there accidentally. Got to be close on that one, though. You kind of have to start the animation before you come around the corner to surprise people. I can't blame him there. Ah, that hook not connecting either. Philadelphia Fusion pushing back. Raucus has to take a breather to stay alive. Houston Outlaws coming up on some ultimates, but Philly already there with nearly 5. Another Riptire comes in. Linkster, though. Here the Riptire. Jake. He found Carpe last time. This time he gets Shadowburn. That Transcendence coming in doesn't really save him. It does allow Neptuno to get the res, though. Raucus pushing forward now with that whole hog. They're not going to let Philly capitalize on that momentum, but if Shadowburn gets a big Riptire here, it could change things. Goes in and finds Jake. Banny down as well. Carpe with a big shot there. Poco pulls in Raucus for another kill, and Philadelphia recovers nicely from that Riptire, and they're going to get some major distance on this payload.
Ooh, Carpe escaping just in the nick of time back to his healer.
Yeah,
it's
close.
only Muma and Coolmat who are left up off of that fight. Coolmat low, but has a self-destruct. They're not coming around to punish him yet. They're going to throw the destruct down.
What? Where did that come from? Came from the opposite side. Coolmat coming in with the self-destruct to catch Neptuno, and Houston Outlaws right back in this defense.
They did not pursue Coolmat, even though he was at about 1/3 HP and hiding behind cover on the upper level of a building behind them. And instead, Neptuno rather, just gets surprised by the self-destruct coming out.
He expects the self-destruct to come from behind on that point.
You have to clean that up, though. I think maybe they thought he was on his way to reset, but he was not. And instead,
I mean, that's usually where the diva would be. You can understand why they make that assumption. Oh, Shadowburn. Linkster really coming alive on the Widowmaker here. Look great on the defense so far. Neptuno there for the res, of course. But only about 25 seconds remaining for Philadelphia Fusion.
Shadowburn
to make
gets
something out of
hooked.
this one. That's right. Raucus. Oh, there's a hook onto Poco now. Jake capitalized on that one. Houston nearly with the full hold here. They just have 10 seconds left. Jake with that Riptire could end it right here. Down zone. Oh, there's both supports. Jake comes up big with that Riptire. The best Junkrat in Overwatch League, and that's going to lead to a full hold for Houston Outlaws. Philly can't get there. And now it's a piece of cake for Houston to tie up this series.
but truly, Doa, it was Coolmat who saved that point.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you clean up your kills. You have to make sure that everybody's taken out. And the thing about it is that Carpe knew that Coolmat was still alive because he was chased out of that position, and they just left him there.
This has been a crazy series. We've got a replay coming in of some of the action from Raucus in that match. Finding a slick kill onto Shadowburn here.
Yeah, this is what really sealed their fate on that push. Raucus is there, he's got the healing. You can't go up with Mercy at that point to resurrect him. Otherwise, you will find yourself in a similar fate. And now the Philadelphia Fusion, their backs against the wall, must hold here at point A. And that's a trick because the Outlaws love to run Bastion on this point. Raucus on the Bastion, double sniper, that is their default composition.
Sure.
For their point A attack, and it's only after that that they switch sometimes into things like Genji Junkrat for point B, but they don't even have to do that here. They just have to make it to that box.
I think what you mentioned earlier about them bringing Shadowburn to warm him up just in case they need him on that Oasis map is going to probably prove true. As Houston looks like they're going to send it to a Game 5, and you know, if you're going to Oasis, you want your Pharah player to be ready to go, and that's what Shadowburn does. So, see if they can get this hold. But man, it is going to be pretty tough for Philadelphia to win it right here.
Trap and a mine, just in case somebody is going to walk over there. Opportunity to potentially take them out early. Poco sneaking around by that doorway, going to be watching, see if anybody takes that approach. But there shouldn't be anybody going through that door with double sniper. Jake actually switching to the Junkrat, so they are making an adjustment.
Okay.
Especially after Jake's Junkrat performance. Okay.
Wow. It's a slaughter already. Houston Outlaws. Some big picks. Boombox does get res, but they're still without Shadowburn for a little while. And Houston's nearly there already. Or halfway.
And now you can't defend at the choke. The best place to defend if you are going to be here on Junkertown A. They're pushed back against the building to stay out of the Widowmaker sightline. Raucus is going to be able to stand here and push them out of or into cover even further.
Break it down immediately. So much pressure on the Neptuno. He's got like no health. Can they get there? I don't know if anyone can even contest this. Nope, they're gonna roll right in. Well, guys, Ilios, blink and you miss it. Junkertown, blink and you miss it. It all gets decided on Oasis. We're going to map 5.
Easy game for Houston. And that's why I said earlier it was so important for Philly to take Ilios, because Houston have Junkertown on lock.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. Well, we're going to map 5, guys. Stage 1, Philly versus Houston. Map 5, Philly wins it. Stage 2, Philly wins it. Map 5 again. Let's see if they can do it a third time or if Houston changes history. Don't go anywhere. The final map coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, guys, to the Overwatch League. It's going to be map number 5 between Philadelphia Fusion and the Houston Outlaws, which should come as no surprise if you've been watching Overwatch League since stage number 1. It happened in stage 1. Philadelphia won it. Happened in stage 2. Philadelphia won it. Stage 3, we'll see if they can do it again or if Houston finally gets that map 5 win. Snillo coming in for Shadowburn, which is interesting. Kind of counters everything we said on Junkertown. But on the other side, Boink coming in for Bonnie, much less surprising. He is their go-to main support for these control maps.
Well, Shadowburn really struggled on Junkertown. He was 1 elim, 1 final blow, which was his only elimination, and then 7 deaths. So the whole team did poorly on that map.
Yep.
However, in Oasis, we saw last week against Boston, Shadowburn come in for map 5 because they wanted that Pharah. That signals to us they're going for a different strategy, whether it's going to be Dive this time or Sombra Tracer, where I think we're going to have to wait and see.
I would imagine Sombra Tracer is going to be the order of the day, but
Can be McCree Tracer too. Remember
good
how
point.
dominant that last Ilios was?
that's a really good point. Carpe's McCree is definitely something to be feared. Kind of depends on the points that we're going to get to. It looks like we're actually starting with Gardens, which is the map that you would normally see more far on, but that's been changing lately.
Yeah, it has been changing. It wasn't every team that would necessarily run the Pharah, especially even in Stage 1 when this map was in the general pool. NYXL had a very good win rate on this map, and they were constantly playing things like Orisa, Roadhog, McCree.
And Dallas had that working for them too for a while.
Yeah, Diva, Roadhog is the 2 tanks. So we have seen some teams be successful on Gardens without the Pharah, but if you look at the history of this point, it is Pharah dominated. So, Philadelphia Fusion, McCree Tracer, it worked for them on Ilios. Can it work again? Jake on the Pharah here, playing the more traditional Farmer C composition.
Carpe on that McCree though, so it's like we were kind of wondering. It is going to be McCree Tracer here on the Philadelphia side, but Jake is going to be able to stay out of range of this McCree. You do have that damage fall off as the McCree that you have to worry about. Gotta find a way to get close. You can at least poke him anyway.
And because the Pharah and Mercy can get into this position so quickly, it's always about cracking the conundrum of the retake here, because this Pharah team will always have priority on the point.
Lynx are just poking a little bit from behind. Fraggy down early. Muma finishing off a kill there.
And that's it. Fraggy died too deep right now. Snillo will follow him into the grave.
A good start for Houston. 2 kills, and they're going to be able to control the point first.
So they couldn't figure it out just yet, the Philadelphia Fusion.
So do you think if you're Philly, this is the round that you're going to be like, all right, this is going to be our worst one? So you're going to have to deal with that Pharah possibly.
I don't know. You're going to have to deal with the Junkrat on University too.
That's a good point.
I think Houston, if they can win this one, have a real good shot at taking this series.
Well, Muma drops early. Is he in a place where they can get to him with their res? It doesn't quite look like it. Barrage from Jake already. Gets 1 onto Carpe, but then gets eliminated pretty quick. Lynx are scrambling to try to capitalize on some of these kills. Carpe brought back up by the res from Neptuno almost immediately. Boombox still sitting on that Transcendence. Doesn't need to use it as Carpe cuts Lynxer down, and that's going to be Philly reclaiming the point.
You can see Jake thought better of his barrage halfway through, sees the Diva and thinks, hey, I better not try and kill myself here. I already got 1. But that's not going to be enough to actually finish the point because Carpe is easily resurrected by Neptuno afterwards.
Jake's always been very bold with his barrages too out of Pharah players. Pays for it sometimes. Carpe with a nice flashbang sets up the kill on Namuma. There's a Deadeye. Houston trying to zone him out. Does get the D-Mech onto Coolmat. Has to dodge that self-destruct. Houston Outlaws trying to use that to get more purchase on the point, but can't quite do it. The Transcendence just letting Philadelphia sit there until Carpe rejoins them.
Absolutely stuffed that attack from the Houston Outlaws. The self-destruct doesn't get much of anything at all because the fight was already lost, so even getting the mech back wasn't really a great option for them. Raucus, no Transcendence available. They don't have a sound barrier either.
Oh man, that was so close. One more rocket would have finished Boombox off. Houston though, coming in, diving up on that high ground now. Whoa, Lynxer across the middle there. Muma with a couple kills as well. It's Houston winning a huge fight here. Jake raining a little bit of damage in, but it's really about the dive from Houston there that got them that one.
Muma died at 99% of his primal rage in the last fight. This time around, you can see he sees them on the high ground, just punts them straight off the map.
Why not, you know? Why wait? Just use the ultimate. Get some guaranteed damage, guaranteed knockoffs.
Lynx are still being sneaky, is found out. Not quite one clip by Snillo.
I mean, it's hard to out-sneak Snillo on the Tracer. He knows all the hiding places. Oh, that got eaten. Yep, Pulse Bomb gobbled up. Philadelphia Fusion coming back on the point with a lot of ultimates themselves. There's a barrage. Fraggy pays for it. Boombox run over by Coolmat. Philadelphia Fusion, you know, they use the Valkyrie. They get the res on the Boombox, but can they win the 5v4 here? I don't know. No, not without Carpe. They do get Boink, but I don't know if they have enough to quite carry this fight through. Snillow's going to need to come up big, trying to harass Raucus a little bit.
I mean, they have to back off. They've got nobody to kill the Pharah, so they have to just pull back, reevaluate their options.
By Coolmat. It's kind of a protracted reset. Oh, they're coming back in. Fraggy rejoins. He's got that Primal Rage now.
Fraggy jumped in
so close,
and
they
he
flip
killed Coolmat in the mini diva before the tank line from the Houston Outlaws could respond. That was the thing that put the Philadelphia Fusion a player up, and they followed Fraggy back in, healing him right back up on his Primal Rage. And of course on Gardens, it would be rare if we didn't see a 99-99 battle.
Pretty much always does end up that way. There's a lot of good angles for the attack to come in. Defenders do struggle a little bit on this one. 98% for Houston Outlaws right now. That Pulse Bomb, nothing for Linkser again. Poco's been so ready for those. 94%, we're getting close. Somberry comes in for Houston. They're gonna try to chase Carpe away. Transcendence for Boombox to try to protect his team. Carpe rotating around the side. The Deadeye comes in, he gets points.
One.
Good damage onto Coolmat, who finishes off Raucus. Just a great flank from Carpe. Sets it up, and how about that? Flashbang. Puma gets the Primal Rage off in time, but he's the only one on the point right now. The rest of the team is dead, and he's going to expire, as does Overtime. Philadelphia Fusion taking point A.
Fighting back after the initial capture by Houston, staying strong. Carpe and Snilla once again showing up. Snilla only died once in that entire map.
We've got a replay of some Fraggy action going after Coolmat here.
This is it. The call comes in. They see Coolmat on the far side already, sitting there with the Orb of Discord, and then turning right back around. Cancels the channel.
Yeah.
On the resurrection. So Fraggy and Boombox getting the big pick that turned things around.
And so now if you're the Houston fans, you're probably like getting that not like this gif ready for social media, because Houston 1 round away from losing yet another one to Philly. They can't let it end like this. Jake on the Sombra as we go into University. Philadelphia trying to make it 3 in a row in 3 game 5s in a row. Fraggy, man, he's going full Fraggy already. So Fraggy's Wonderland back on the Reinhardt again.
They don't see Jake because he's down underneath hacking the health back, so they just take all of the room, Noah.
Why not, you know? You've got the edge and you can just kind of bull rush your way forward.
Fraggy is literally just holding down left click and walking across the map. It was a 6 versus 4 because Coolmat and Jake were on the underside of the point that entire time.
It's like Monty's a Reinhardt main, so I know this is like his dream come true to watch this.
Just have a Moira pocket healing me so I can just run at people holding my left click down.
I don't know if I've ever seen you this happy.
I do love watching Fraggy.
Positively gleeful. Nearly 20% for Philly already, and yeah, the nerves have got to be going like mad on Houston Outlaws right now.
You can see they've already adjusted. Linkser now to the Reaper, Jake on the Junkrat.
Yep. Meanwhile, Carpe on that Zarya.
So first Coalescence comes out just to create space again for Fraggy.
Snilla's got such a great position for this Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, he does. He's coming around the side. Oh, he's trying to fall back right now.
Yeah, he needed the health pack. Gets it. Now Houston Outlaws trying to move their way onto the point. Fraggy's like, oh yeah, that's right, I have a shield too. Oh, never mind. A lot of damage. Knocks Linkser down into the pit. Linkser has to take the long way back. Big Earthshatter comes in for Fraggy, sets up the kill onto Boink, and now he's just gonna wade through the rest of Houston. They are the forest, and he is the lumberjack. And he's okay.
He's definitely okay. More than okay. Bloodthirsty, picking up the kills, shatter onto the Mercy, and now they've got another CC ult available. Carpe is here with a Graviton Surge. They can combine it with a self-destruct if they need to.
Yep. Combine it with a lot of things if they need to. 80% for Philadelphia Fusion. Houston Outlaws need to make something happen right here, right now. Graviton Surge finds Jake. Jake gets Neptuno, though. Poco back into the mech after using that self-destruct. Fraggy charges into the room. Says, come at me, as Houston Outlaws, now with a lot of ults of their own to use. There's the Coalescence. Popped by Boombox here. Snillo still sitting on that pulse bomb. Now the sound barrier in the extra shields and the Riptire rolling, coming up where Philadelphia may not expect it. That's 3 for Jake. That's why you get this guy on a Junkrat, and Houston Outlaws at the last second, they look like they can take this point back.
And the timing to around the sound barrier means Neptuno drops it, but they still end up dead at the end. Fraggy has the Earth Shatter, but that's the only ultimate available to them. But Philadelphia has time to work with. However, Jake saves this match.
Here we go. Fraggy announces he's capturing the objective. That's what Philadelphia wants. Oh no, too aggressive. Jake was ready that time. You can't just walk towards the Junkrat unless you got the heals. So
or
Philadelphia, or the boops, that works too. Jake, does get killed off by Neptuno there. There's a stick. Fade gets him out of it though. He's gonna be okay for the moment. Philadelphia nearly taking the point back, but Houston still holding strong. Earth Shatter comes down. Nice dodge from Linkster to get out of that one. Philadelphia flips it. They got the point back again. Houston pushed off for just enough. It's a mad scramble now as Houston fights for their life in this series. Valkyrie comes in for Boink. Coalescence on the other side. Snillo, a pulse bomb could win them the series right here. He's got it loaded up. Poco back in the mech again. Here comes a Riptire, was big last time. Oh no, kills this time around, and the heals onto Poco. Although Houston does flip the point back. Philadelphia backing away. Close call for Houston, but they barely hold on.
But the most important thing is the Shatter zoned Houston off the point, so they couldn't build up control percent throughout that engagement, which means Philadelphia still has a ton of time, and they have a big bang combo to use.
Now that's going to be the plan here. Snillo's been saving that pulse bomb. Carpe, a big graviton surge here, just needs to not have it eaten. They're going to bring in Muma. Muma down early on. Sound barrier for Philadelphia Fusion as they try to stop this fight. Boink taken out by Poco. You're right, Boombox back in with the Coalescence. They're roasting Coolmat now. He's going to drop into the pit, come back out after grabbing the health pack, and now Linkster needs to keep this point alive. Philadelphia flips it though. And they're gonna get it overtime. Houston, they need to get somebody back there. Muma jumps in, drops almost immediately. They need more. Rockets can't stand on the point. Jake coming in, there goes Boink. Jake on his own, and that's it. Philadelphia Fusion, yet another Game 5, yet another win in this series.
And this matchup really delivers, Doa.
No kidding.
3-2 for the third time in the Overwatch League to the Philadelphia Fusion. A little bit of help of Fraggy's Reinhardt.
There are just some series in the Overwatch League that you know are going to be awesome when they come up. This is one of them. Like, this is a rivalry, no doubt about it. Everybody's going to be looking forward to Philly versus Houston. It's always close, but each time Philadelphia just barely finds a way to get that win. All I gotta say now is, can't wait till stage 4. We're gonna send it over to the desk guys. It's time for them to break down that pretty epic series.
Thank you so much, Monty and Doa. Give it up for our casters here, and more importantly, the Philadelphia Fusion, a Game 5 victory again. That's 3 now that they pull it out. Mr. 0-3, explain yourself. You went to Twitter before the game.
I did.
You
I
said
put out a tweet.
Houston's got the numbers. They've got the stats. Where's their W?
I was wrong. It's unlike me to admit that, but I was wrong. Maybe that just shows that I'm growing as a person, maturing maybe, but who knows?
It's
Probably
very
not.
graceful of you. It's a flat-out lie, but I'll still...
The most graceful 0-3 day you could ask for. Let's go back to game number 3 and show you how we got started. It was Ilios, it was Control, it was Carpe, all in your face with the McCree.
Well, the McCree is going to make a lot of sense here because you're almost certain that you're going to see a Tracer, so at least you have that. But Houston doubled down with the Sombra as well, and so it was just a field day for Carp.
It's a question mark, right? Because McCree is kind of the soft counter to Tracer and Sombra at the same time. It's like, yeah, it's a very difficult job if you're playing McCree to try and shut down both of them at once, but then you're up against a person like Carpe, right? And he's not the kind of guy you want to underestimate coming into this role, and he did absolutely shut down that round.
Also, you gotta notice Snillo on the Tracer had the upper hand. When it came to Junkertown, though, you saw Sideshow tweeting about it. He said, this is basically a free win for Houston anytime they play on this map. What makes them so good?
Well, in this map, the terrain allows them to play all their best heroes.
Yeah.
You can play Linkser on 1v1 Widowmaker. He will wreck pretty much anybody else. Jake, best Junkrat, he will wreck pretty much anybody else. And then you have the flexibility that Rockus has, on top of the fact that the tank line really shines in holding down position. So it's just a perfect map for that.
Rockus, you want Hog? You want Bastion? We'll give you them both. Whatever you want to run here on Junkertown. So now we're going to a game 5. All of the numbers, once again, were in Brent's favor. You were supposed to be right here.
Yeah, I mean,
80% win rate here for Houston versus 20% for Philadelphia. Yet Philly turns it on its head. Fraggy with the Reinhardt never used his shield in the second heat. But I felt like we just probably would have seen a different outcome if you saw Jake's Junkrat earlier here on the second team.
Exactly. I made mention to this as well when we were watching the game, but I thought Jake pulling out the Sombra probably wasn't really the play. He switched to essentially the Junkrat a little bit later on, but too little too late. And I mean, this match, Philadelphia, again, they pulled out clutch plays all day long with Carpe. His name comes up so often because he is very paramount in Philadelphia, picking up these wins time and time again.
But I think it was the hero selection in which they went in the initial fights every time. Going into the quad tank, rather the triple tank early on, bam, you immediately get the point. Once again, in the previous map, they predict things going a little with the Pharah, they go with the McCree. So their initial compositions, I think, caught Houston by surprise and allowed them to win the first fights, win the map.
I think Houston had a lot of small mistakes in that game 5 that they'll go back and wish they could correct. At the end of it all, though, it's Philly who comes back and steals the match the 3rd time around. We now have to crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Who is it? Is it Fraggy on the Rhine? Nah, it's Philly, baby. It's Carpe once again, the Widowmaker from Volskaya. He did it all over Ilios as well. Numbani, he showcased the headshots. With Snillo now in the lineup, you don't see Carpe on that Tracer anymore, and to be honest, I'm happy about it, because now I'm really getting to see the depth of this DPS hero.
We get to see what Carpe gets to do in Widowmaker. He can play it more in more places than most people can, but I will want to throw a bone there to Snill. He's doing a fantastic job in filling Carpe's shoes and making sure that he remains a constant threat that presents line of sight opportunities for him.
38 final blows, 19 of those critical hits. Pretty impressive stuff coming in from Carpe once again. We talked about some of the best DPS players. We talk about MVPs. I think he's in the running for the Overwatch League. Let's take a look at our big picture, though, because this matchup, well, it shakes things up. As we take a look at Stage 3 alone, you're going to see London Spitfire down at number 8. Philadelphia jumps up to number 5. But it's a bit surprising at the top. We got the Valiant after their win earlier in the week, as well as Boston's big upset over New York today. We'll take the number 1 and 2 spots.
Yeah, a significant lack, I think, of both Seoul Dynasty and London and New York not on that number 1 seed. So a huge mix-up here, and honestly, a whole bunch of upsets.
Well, the cool thing is actually seeing things as a stage divided. It really makes every single stage a very different feel to it, and I really appreciate that, because otherwise we would have these standings pretty much every single time, and the energy just doesn't feel the same.
Boston versus Philadelphia. They played earlier. It went to a game 5. If you had to pick one today to be better on the leaderboard at the end of this stage, is it Boston right now, or is it the Philadelphia Fusion? Who do you think has a better chance showing into playoffs?
That's a loaded question.
That's so hard to say, because how both these teams have been playing. Like, mistakes adding so much to the Boston roster coming in. Philadelphia completely surprising us despite the fact that they don't have EQO. Like, both these teams are still kind of like an enigma.
And of course, tomorrow we get a chance to see the Gladiators as well as the Valiant, the 2 LA teams trying to stay up in the running here in Stage 3 as they want to be competing for that $125,000 performance bonus at the end of their 10 matches. That's going to do it for another amazing day of action. Did you guys have fun?
I enjoyed it.
A really fun day.
I enjoyed my time on the desk, Puckett. Thank you very much.
It was a great day. It was
All
a great
down
day.
to you.
And guess what? We're going to wrap it up with something even better. If you're watching on twitch.tv, make sure you have the All Access Pass, because after the show, Fraggy is going to be live with an AMA. Ask him how it felt to not use a shield and do nothing but hammer his opponents for the victory tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Action kicks off at 4 p.m. Pacific, as always.
What's up, guys? Fraggy here from the Philadelphia Fusion. I'm here to answer your questions from the Twitch Overwatch League All Access Pass. So let's get into it. First question. Muddy Hunt asks, does the fact that there are thousands of people watching you play affect your ability to focus at all? So on stage, we have played so many games already, so I feel like it doesn't affect me too much. But on like high pressure situations, I might make some mistakes sometimes, might feel a bit. I don't know. All right. Second question. GPSW Dips asks, what are some tips you can give to improve players' main tank gameplay and matchmaking? So yeah, improve main tank gameplay and matchmaking. I think it's mostly about not taking too much unnecessary damage, especially with Winston. Go for the squeezes a lot, because in matchmaking, people are usually a lot like unorganized, so you can get E-skills on like Zenyatta's and Macrees and whatnot. With Reinhardt, just go hard with your hammer, you know. Third question. VN Papeable SSVN asks, Fraggy, how do you maintain your magnificent beard? So it's a lot of time and effort. Okay, first you need to grow it. You need to have like good genes, I guess, to grow it. You need to be old enough. Then you use beard oil, you use beard balms, trim it a bit with scissors sometimes, and of course brush it every day. All right. CDAWWG _ asks, what is your favorite map type to play on? I'd say probably escort and hybrid, like hybrid and escorts. I think our own team is based on those. We have like really good idea on how to control the space and how to use ultimates to win easy fights and so on. So probably those, yeah. Hybrids and escorts. This guy _ asks, what are your thoughts on the recent Mei buffs? So Mei, I think the only Mei buff was that her left click goes through all the enemies, the freezing thing. I feel like it probably makes her a bit more viable. It's certainly like good on choke points and maybe like comboing with like Zarya ultimates and stuff. But I'm not sure if it makes her OP or not. I haven't tried it out too much yet. EM _ Anra asks, the evolution of your team is admirable to witness. What was the key change from stage 1 to stage 2 that got you guys to the finals? So stage 1 was a bit shaky for us. It was like a kind of a pre-season for us. We didn't have too much synergy yet in stage 1. So especially me and a lot of other people didn't really have a good idea on like how to play the game as a team and be on the same page. So going towards stage 2, we find like our groove and find a good style that suits us. So I think our results just got better because of that. Okay, Lee F5 asks, if you were to play any other role, what role would you play? I feel like I would make a pretty good support, like main support probably. I could replace Neptune pretty easily, you know, play Lucio Mercy, it's an easy job. Sachi91, I don't know, asks, what do you think of Reinhardt's current state? He's countered by almost every character. Do you think he needs quality of life changes to improve his survivability? So Reinhardt is, it's not nice to play always. You get like CC'd a lot, you get like bounced around by Lucios, by Winstons, by Junkrats a lot. So I feel like Reinhardt maybe needs a bit of a buff. Some kind of like, it's tough. The problem is mostly with mobility, I feel like, and I don't think it's that easy to change for Reinhardt, so maybe Brigitte changes stuff around a bit. Boffiroffi asks, what tank combos / setups do you personally find most fun to play? I've been liking Winston a lot more recently, but I guess I still prefer like the standard Reinhardt Zarya stuff. Generic Space Marine asks, seeing how you improved a lot, capitalized as a main tank in the past months, how did you do so? What did you focus on? It's mostly about focusing on my own survivability, I think. I play a lot more selfish nowadays. In the beginning, I thought like playing in dive was a lot more about like going exactly together with your Genji, Tracer, Winston, whatever. But in reality, it doesn't work out like that. So you need to play like a lot more like a flexible style. and so you can like get out when you need and stuff like that. Opik How asks, what kind of music is your favorite? So I listen to a lot of Japanese music. I'm a bit of a weeaboo in that way. I think it's more of a like habit of mine. I don't really like think about too much what I listen to. I just like put it on, and I've been listening to the same music for like 10 years, and I still listen to it. Mikey DWSR asks, Fraggy, your tanking style has made me want to become main tank. How do you walk that fine line between aggression and restraint? So as I kind of said before, you need to think a lot about your own survivability and see what the enemy team is doing. So if you have space to go in, you go in and punish the enemy backline. And if the enemy diva or tracer is pressuring you, you need to go back and just play accordingly to the space the enemy team is giving you. Bila W Liet 97 asks, what is the most important thing to do to keep your teammates alive as a main/secondary tank? So I actually used to peel too much, I think, with Winston. It's more of it's not really Winston's job to keep your backline alive. With some comps, if the team has a Genji dive comp, you might want to peel if you're running a Vidal or McCree more. But usually Winston's job is more to get kills and punish enemy squishes. As a diva, you just need to pay attention a lot, where the enemy tracer is, and pressure the enemy Winston a lot. Soltirina asks, Heya, how would you describe living in the team house? Fun? It's really fun. Yeah, we spent all the day with each other pretty much. It isn't really we have been living for 4 months together now. It hasn't been too tough, so I guess a lot of the players are nice people to live with. I guess there could be some trouble if you're not used to it, but I don't really mind living with other people, so it's pretty nice. We play games together a lot and have fun outside of the game as well. PS Son asks, how many times did Sideshow try to break into the house? So unfortunately, because we had to practice and stuff, I couldn't keep watch through the whole night for the 1 week. So I have no idea what mischiefs he was up to during the nights, but probably multiple times. Arar TV asks, what do you do on days Fusion doesn't have a match? So we usually have one off day a week. It's usually after the last game we play on that specific week, so usually Sunday a lot for us. Usually players try to relax a lot. It's mostly about relaxing and getting ready for the next week. A lot of players play ranked a lot, stream. Yep, I sleep a lot as well. Existentially Yours asks, how have you and Pogo practiced tank synergy, and what do you think you can still do to improve your dives? So I think tank synergy and dives are they're a bit of different subjects. The tank synergy stuff is mostly about just going through stuff after scrims and looking at votes, how we want to play certain points. And you need to communicate a lot, if you are getting low or if you can help your tank with if I need to ask Pogo if he has Matrix, if I have a bubble, and we coordinate our cooldowns. So it's a lot about communication. What you can still do to improve your dives. It's a lot about communication as well and understanding when you should dive and when not. As a Winston player, you mostly do that with your tracer in the cooldown meta, so you need to have very good synergy with your tracer. Mojo Bat asks, can you give your best Trident impression of Hammer Down? Okay, let's go. Hammer Down! Oh no. Okay. Rico Enkido asks, does the majority of your power come from your glorious beard? Yeah, it's the beard and the long hair. I'm like Samson a bit, I guess. General Crimson asks, do you like pineapple on pizza? I actually used to hate it a lot, but nowadays I don't mind too much. I think a good alternative to this it's peach, because it's less crunchy and it's kind of sweet as well. So that's a secret tip from me. All right, that was the last question. So thanks for watching. You can follow me at Twitter at Fraggy, and have a nice day.